Hi guys, welcome to Webinar Live number 3. So let me just remove Dan Thomas from my ear. There we go. Bye. He's like he's my angel in my ear here. So we're going to get that out. And then I'm going to just add him in. We've got some great stuff coming up for you today, guys. So we're going to discuss a few things. One of those will be last night's announcement and how you feel about that this morning. And how I feel about that as a salon owner who has a great, fantastic team of people that are waiting to get hungry back into their business as well. I'm hungry to get back to work because as a hairdresser, I need people around me. I've lived with people all around me since I was a young boy, so, I have this kind of fear of being alone. But with you guys here today, we're not alone right now. And you're going to sit back for 3 hours. Now, it might be 3 hours, might be 2.5. I might run over, but it depends, depends how it goes. But today we're going to talk about the bob haircut. Okay, it's one of the most beautiful, simplest haircuts there is. And there is a beautiful way of cutting it. Let me just add Dan Thomas in so I can hear him in my ear. Bear with me a second. Right, so I'm going to find you, Dan. All right, let's find Dan. Dan Thomas is one of my really good friends. He is, let's have a look. Let's add him for more. Promote to panelist. There we go, Dan. There's Dan Thomas. So I'm going to pin my video as well. There we go. So let's have a look. Panelist. Now, Dan Thomas, unmute. Hey, Dan Thomas.
Hello, everyone.
There we go. I got you in my ear. I can hear you. Now I've got a nice little, like if I have this, I feel like a security guard with this in my, and then I've got the little head mic on there. How's the sound, Daniel?
Sound is good.
And how's the visual?
Visual's looking good.
I mean, I work hard on this, guys. Yesterday I did a little bit on Instagram about, my setup and how I could get to communicate with you with a better visual, better sound, and get my message across to you. And I've been working really hard on that because I kind of feel it's really, let me just turn this off. Bear with me. It's really important to connect right now. And the way we are connecting is via social media. We have never needed social media more than anyone in this time. It's a way to connect. Now, if you take yourself back like 5, 6, 7 years ago, we wouldn't have been doing this way. We wouldn't have been able to stay in touch with each other like we've been staying in touch and creating that community. I mean, we've come on to some communities right now, which are just incredible. So we have guys that are really inspiring me at the minute. And we've got a little mic issue there. We've got How to Cut It by Dom Lehane, who actually is a good friend of mine, lives in my town, works in my town, and he's just creating some magic noise. So I really want you to go over there and follow what's going on. He makes sense. He talks business, and he's got a lot of collaborations with a lot of clever minds. So get into that group. Then you've got the hair socials, which I did a little piece on there. You can go back and watch that as well. And I'm a different kind of teacher. I teach you from in the heart. That's what I do. I teach you from here. And I hope that really shows. Now, hopefully it will show by how many people we've got coming in. Oh, we've got quite a lot of you come in. Let's have a look at the listed names. So, Dan, who have we got in here that's, you're kind of recognizing the names coming up again and again? Who have we got? We've got Chloe Hunter. Who we got in there, Dan? Do you want to just read out some names for me?
Yeah, we got Amelia Wright-Jones again.
Hello, Amelia.
Daryl's back.
Hey.
We got Daryl Snarky. Eloise Stepp.
Hi.
Philippe
Seri, my boy.
Jasmine Sutton. And lots of others.
Lots of others. We go with the lots of others. Okay, guys. So we had a great bash. First of all, on the first seminar, I told you a little bit about my life and how I kind of grew up. You can watch that back on YouTube as well. If you've missed them before, we're uploading them. We're kind of working on the quality of them. We're learning technology and how to interact with my educational system as well. So on the first one, we discovered long hair and how to layer it. The second one, we did more of a lob, and these are all haircuts that you're going to do in the salon. These are haircuts that will make you money. If you learn the foundations and the fundamentals of what you do, you will gather an abundance of creativity. But remember, with what you do in the salon today, when we get back there, this will then pay forward for your next part of your journey. So whether that's, you want to be a session stylist, you want to be an educator, you want to be on stage, you want to do a photo shoot or anything like that, Dan Thomas can help you out with the photo shoots when we get back and flying. I know he's itching to get behind that camera. But I want to talk to you about what has happened and how you're feeling about that. I feel that your anxiety levels are probably rising up to about here, and we don't know where our anxiety kind of comes from, but we do have a choice, and that's one thing I do speak to you about, is that you have a choice of what information you have been dealt with and what is happening to you. It's switching that round, and you have two choices. You can kind of let that give you anxiety, fear, doubt, or you have a choice to do something about it, make a difference with this time. Now, you've been allowed a little bit more time, and you want to see that as a gift right now. Okay, so that little bit of time that you've been given, you need to now make a choice. What choice are you going to do? You're going to let this take you, or are you going to fight it? Yeah. Are you going to let it take you and take you lower and take you out where you can't get out of bed in the mornings and you kind of feel a little bit crap because the weather's outside? Or are you going to get up? Now, I made a choice to get up. I got up and I worked to myself. I gave myself that first routine. So when I got out of bed, I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I get up. I almost count myself out of bed. It's easy to hit that snooze again and again and again. But because you've done that action, you've made that choice, your whole day will develop and it will enroll and it will keep going, because your first action of the day must be a positive one. And I got up. I made sure I got up. And then I'll go downstairs and I'll have my drink of coffee. I'll get that down me. Then I'll go straight up. I'll have a shower. Then I'll come down. I'll blast my best tunes, the tunes that get me frighteningly excited. And then I'll set myself and my emotions, and I'll really empty my mind and the anxieties of what I'm thinking, or, flood that out. And then I'll go and exercise, because when you exercise, you're releasing endorphins, serotonins. You're releasing all of these good, positive energies, and you just flood with them. And when you're flooded with them, they stay on a nice level throughout the day. And you want to do more. You want to be more active. You want to make a difference. You want to make a new video for your social media, because the presence of social media right now will really have a dictate or outcome on how you recover. Because you have that time where to do those videos that you've always wanted to do, to remodel your Instagram, to remodel your Facebook, to learn Facebook again for those guys that are a little bit more behind on that. I've had to relearn everything. People are asking me for social media golden tickets. There isn't one, guys. There is no golden ticket out there. You can set up your page and you can research that. Everything is free on the internet right now. And there's people out there that study this job. They study it. They talk about, what kind of frame of picture you need to put up, what high quality, what it should be recorded on, the content that you want to produce. But you've got to find what that means to you. You've got to find you, put you out there. That's what people want to see. They want to see the real you. I mean, the funniest thing that I've seen this week, I shit you not, is Sophia Hilton and a little lad, right? He come out with this big wanger. I don't know if you've seen it, but it cheered me up and it humanized her. Humanized. She's quite, you relate to her because she's her. And what she's got to talk about, you relate to. And when you relate to somebody or something, you feel like you're a part of it. And I stay in contact with her. But anyway, she got this. You got to go and watch the video. A little lad come out and he wanged this thing up and it flung up and then it went boom on the floor. And the old man, Joel, he's standing over the other side cracking up. You have to go and watch that. But over this last week, these last 2 weeks, it has been weird. And I know it's been weird because if it's been weird for me, it's definitely been weird for you. You know, it's like we've had, you know, the sunshine come and go. You know, it has really that. It's like the weather has bipolar, and within that, that's give you the ups and the downs that you've done. You know, you're feeling guilty for not doing anything. You're feeling the guilt and the shame of like, why am I not doing anything? Because there is not much to do. But I beg to differ. Do something. Get up. Do something amazing. Work on something. Go and learn something. You've got another 3 weeks. You've been given another 3 weeks to master what you do. And I congratulate you for being here now because you're going to learn a few things. I've got all my team on board every single Monday. This is how I'm staying in touch with them. We're not talking about what's going to happen, but let me talk to you about the choices that we now have. Your new consultation. And this is what I want you to really visualize and I want you to picture. And this is where you've been given a choice. You can either look at returning to work as a negative thing because we've kind of come out of being in the work mode and we've got a bit of anxiety about going back to work. And the decision yesterday, that was different to the decision that you thought was going to happen. You had a different outcome, but I know some of you and a lot of you were going, I'm not ready to go back to work in this pandemic. You know, I'm not ready to go. I'm scared. If they told me I've got to go back tomorrow, I'm actually scared. But then there was another side of you who's going, I can't wait to go back and see my friends, see my clients, cut some hair, be creative again. But actually, what does that look like when I'm covered with a mask and I've got hand sanitizers everywhere and we're trying to clean and we're trying to do all this and then your brain just floods with anxiety. Well, actually, what we can do to calm that down is we find a plan. You pre-visualize that plan. And the plan looks beautiful. A lot of people are saying that they need to put their prices up to cope with the extra costs of PPE and the precautions and the less of clients to go in. Now, we all started at some point where we were a bit more organized. Now, some of you are fast cutters. You're not going to be a fast cutter. You're really, really going to enjoy your job because you can't do 30-minute appointments. Now you're going to take those appointments and you're going to extend them because the clean down and the service that you are going to add to your clients to reassure them that you have their best heart, their interests in your heart and your own safety and your staff safety. And you've all got to be a team for this. So you have to make a plan. If you haven't already made a plan, make a plan. Draw your salon out on what it looks like, the 2-meter rule. We are definitely going to follow these guidelines for a longer time. And it's going to be a part of our life. Wearing a mask is going to be a part of our life. You know, these things, you know, I can't say whether they're definitely happening, but hey, worst case scenario, I've got to wear a mask and gloves. Is that it? And my client's got to wear a mask. But what I really want to talk to you about is how now your consultation is changing, because we're so used to looking at them in the eye and talking them to direct and looking at their mouth and their facial expressions to what you're replying and seeing. And we are going to be blanketed out there. Now, if I said to you, your verbal kind of connection with somebody is a low percentage, probably what, 10, 20%. The other percentage that you have is body language. And you know, when you're feeling a little bit low, you know, and you're probably feeling like this now, and your head's tilted down, your shoulders are down. And, you know, you're going to give people a little bit, are you okay? Because you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, you know, and sometimes you can either be like hunched over and carrying that weight, or sometimes you're just tight and you're there. And the only way you're going to get through that is to get this stronger. Yeah. To get this stronger by getting this stronger, by getting this stronger. Now I've been working out every morning. So that's my routine. I work out and I push it to the extreme where my body can't even think about anything else but my breath. And sometimes when they teach you in meditation, it's all about how you breathe, how you calm yourself down. the exercises that you do to kind of just quiet your mind down and not worry about it. But I'm quite excited to get back to work. And this consultation looks different because now the vocals and the mouth expressions, the smiles will be changed. And now you've got to learn to really feel with your eyes and your body, and our senses will change. So you're going to start opening up parts of your brain that have not been opened and you didn't realize what was happening. But get excited by it, because your brain will now think more. You take away one, you enhance another. You will smile with your eyes. You will give expression with your eyes, and your talking will quieten down, and you will be at one with your client. And you'll be trying to kind of talk back and forward, but if you're both wearing masks. But what we can do, one of the things that I've really thought that, okay, so what are clients expecting? And we need to put the price up, guys. Or we don't discount. We can all just stay the same. Whatever you feel you want to do, you do that, but don't put yourself at jeopardy. Don't put you have to still earn the money. You still have to do that so you can look after your clients and give them the best service, give them the best quality of products. But you've got to make it very unique now. It's probably the service that you should have been doing. So when a client will turn up, they will have their own pack of PPE. They will have their own personal gown. They will have their own personal towels. They'll have their own personal mask, gloves. And you can put a little price on that to give them that. Is that okay? Of course it's okay. They won't mind. They want to support you. So when they turn up, they get this lovely little pack. They unbraid their seal. The coats and bags are hung up next to them, and they hang those up. Yeah. Each unit was sterilized and steam cleaned with a steam cleaner. This is something that Rick Roberts said he steam cleans. So that saves on products all the time. Just a steamer, steam the area down, set out a new packet on another station, next to you. Now, I'm very fortunate. I have a big salon, but for you guys with a smaller salon, enjoy the process. Enjoy the one-to-one with your guest. Don't make it a burden on yourself. You may have to kind of work a couple of more hours, but you'll have that freedom in between to do something amazing. So let's say you're doing a color and then a cut, and you've got that gap in between where we're not allowed to kind of maybe lean over to another client and go back and forth. Within that hour, what can you do? You make a plan. In that hour, what can I do to progress my business, to do my social media, to attract a better audience, to give a good message out there? And in that time, you can sterilize your equipment and have fun with it. The crowding is not going to happen. Your staff room will not happen. So, you have to kind of make allowances for this as well. Bring your color out, prep everything, preparation on every client. You should have been doing this anyway. Prepare the products that you're going to use on that client. You should know those clients, and they're so excited to come back, and that product was them. And then you sterilize that and you put that back. It's easy, and it's becoming normal. It's going to be so easy. I know we're going to be behind plastic screens and stuff like that. And hopefully, I don't know about you, but my hands were red raw after lockdown. Just that time before, washing my hands. So I've got touchless hand sanitizers. Touchless ones. You pop your hand under, it gives you a nice portion. We're not going to be wasting product. That's going to get expensive. So if you put your hand under a touchless one, boom, do that. You could even keep your gloves on and sterilize the outside of your gloves, and get some gloves that really fit you tight, because you're going to start learning to cut hair with them as well. This may be or may not be, but prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And preparation is the key to a better mindset. The layout, that. I want you to start having more team meetings as well about what this looks like when you've got a definite plan. Is that okay? So now I want to talk to you about body language and reading someone's body language and how to connect with a person, because we're not going to be able to do it through our voice, And, I've been studying body language for quite a time, because I think it's very important to kind of connect with a soul and give them the same energy back. And if you can see that your clients are a little bit worried, a little bit slumped, they've got something going on, they're not going to be able to verbally talk to you, but you can give them a really good feeling by how you change yourself and the choices you've made to kind of bring yourself up to this kind of better being, that you're going to look after them. And remember, I got sent a message this morning that, there was a girl that I was speaking to Her name was Emma, and her boyfriend is a psychologist. And I talk about psychology a lot because I had to understand why my brain didn't work. And I mean that in a way that I felt very different to everybody else. And that is all because of my memories of where I've come from. So when I started learning body language and the reactions, and like if you get in someone's space like this, and you're up in their space, they tend to kind of back away from you. So people will want more space generally now. And you'll see that, the 2-meter distance rule, you never had personal space. Now you've got a lot of it. But when that slows down, what does that look like? The human contact, the human touch. But we are going to be this close to somebody. We're very gifted because we're going to be this. We're not going to be facing them. We're going to be talking through the mirror. So you're going to learn your consultations and how to do them behind the mirror, but still have the interaction of eye contact. And you won't touch your client unless you ask for permission. Is it okay if I touch your hair? You will now ask permission, and this allows you into their psyche. You've now entered their zone where they haven't had a zone to be entered. Does that make sense? A lot of people will feel like this, and I just want to give you that heads up now. That's what it's going to feel like, and you're going to have the best service that you've ever got, and then you're going to have the opportunity to give the best haircut. Now, if she's sitting there and she's engaged with you, or she started sloping and stuff like that, or her foot starts tapping, or and you're nodding, a lot, like if you start nodding, you start nodding with me. Yeah. If you start smiling, they can't see you smile anymore. So you got to smile with your smiles. Smile with the smiles. You got that? Hand gestures. You got to read them and read how they're feeling. If they're looking around the salon, they're a little bit lost because you've left them alone a little bit. You make eye contact with them, you go forward. You've got to really deliver a good consultation now. The power of consultation is going to be your best thing here. Now, that's what the future of salons looks like. It's just that bit. It's that welcoming. It's getting them involved. Now, I want to teach you a little bit. Oh, no, I want to kind of say to you, we've got somebody coming on later. And this person I've admired for many, many years. Many, many years. This guy does not sit still. And there's this crossover between, people say, because you've suffered, that's why you're doing well. Because you've had a hard life, you've got the fire in your belly, and that's why you're doing well. Well, I couldn't disagree with that anymore. Maybe I would have made the choices. Every choice that I've made in life has led to something. The choice of, leaving the house that day and going to that certain part is where I met that certain person. And then maybe that became the love of my life. If you had made those choices, everything that we do is choices, and our brain has seconds to think of these and take action in those. But this guy had a good life. He's had a beautiful family, and he's up north, so the northerners of the country seem to be a little bit nicer. And his name is Robert Eaton. He is a trichologist expert as well. So he didn't just take his hairdressing, he took it and he learned something new that he could give back to his clients. It's about giving back, because once you give out and you give out, you receive. What you put out, you will receive. This is the manifesto, the manifestation of you. What you put out, you will get back. If you're throwing out negative thoughts and you're throwing out really kind of like slanderous stuff, or you're talking to yourself, they don't like me, they're not listening to me, I'm scared about what they're going to, that's what you're going to get back. So if you can self-teach yourself something, and that's education, that's what Robert did. He's going to come on a bit later and just talk about a few of the things that he's kind of feeling right now, whilst we cut a bob. Now, last week, there was a few things that I wanted you to do, and that was write down your confidence level. Okay, so hopefully your confidence level is kind of feeling, so, lack of confidence is definitely gone down. I know it has. I've sent it to you. I feel it. You're going to rewatch my videos on YouTube and you're going to go, yeah, I've got that now. I can't wait to do that. So you're sitting ready to turn the table. So when you get to ground zero and you can only grow in confidence, that's what I want to teach you. You know, you can tell yourself in your mind, I'm more confident, 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 I'm more confident. And you will trick yourself into being confident because you've given yourself the knowledge. Now, I want to talk about hairdressing because that's where my heart is at. Last night, I had a nice date last night with a nice model. That was quite nice. I had another guy join me as well on video. Got a bit weird. But here she is. I did something because somebody asked me to. Sometimes you just got to ask. And because he keeps asking, that's why he's perfecting his skill so much more. His development in this time, he hasn't wasted this time at all. He's taken this as an opportunity to learn something new. I know I can talk on, I can jump and skip, but this is something that I wanted to do. And I had a one-to-one lesson with him via webinar, and he replicated this look. Now, I wanted to open his mind and exercise his mind between the, you know, what the cutting skills are. So we have a triangle, a square, and a circle shape. That's it. You learn those shapes and what they mean within the geometry of hairdressing. And then you combine them with line, layer, and graduation. I mean, that's a good combination. And then you work out your sectioning patterns, but keeping your work clean. My style of cutting varies and it changes wherever I inspire or admiration for somebody else's way of working. I've said it before, I've seen someone cut hair in 25 minutes and I could check that haircut and it probably wouldn't be as nice as I would like it, but the client loved it. They loved the spirit of it and the energy that went into it. I like my precision work, but given the opportunity, I've spent a lot of time cutting hair. I like it and I'm like more excited about it as well. And it's realized that how much time we don't get to master our craft, and in this time you can master all of these things. You can become better at social media. That's your advertising post, that's your front door. You know, it used to be the yellow pages, now it's social media. You should kind of get back onto that. I've left my salon one alone for quite a long time and I'm kind of feeling a little bit neglected for it, but you know, making a post, the clients are reaching out to you, what's going on. Then you learn some more haircuts, learn some more color, and just make that a routine of yours. That's what, and wait until you get back into the salon. You'll be a master. All those things you didn't get time to do, you have time to do. Learn an instrument, learn how to email, learn how to template, learn how to make a newsletter, learn how to market to your guests, learn how to, you know, maybe you want to open your own business after this and start from the ground up, because we're all going to be starting there. Now, we are going to have a little bit of a struggle going through time. So, you know, the better you can be, yeah, you will outdo it. You will own the monopoly. Yeah, you will take from somebody else that didn't get up and go out there. I'm afraid that it will be like that. We want to help each other. We want to be endearing to each other. But, you know, it's what you do today that will dictate the outcome in the next 6 months. And that will keep going. You need to be better than you was yesterday. That's it. Yesterday was yesterday. Let me be better today. And then now and again, you'll go on those waves and something will come along that's out of your control, and which is a pandemic, and you'll feel like, oh, but it's how you think about this. You know, it's the choices that you make about how you think about what's going on. Make those choices. Anyway, let me talk you through this haircut. So what we decided to do was approach the haircut. He showed me a haircut and he said, what do you think? I went, yeah. I don't want to be offensive, but I knew there's something inside this guy which I can change like that. And it's all, you just got to be taught. You got to be taught. You got to learn. You got to want. And that's what he did. So if you go onto his Instagram, he showed you the version of this haircut, and we still haven't finished this haircut, but I spent a little bit of time working with it. Now I've worked with, it's not a haircut that I would do in the salon at all, but it's working on the precision and the graduation and the joining of techniques. So what I started here was with a line, and I started this line. Let me get that nice and close for you. So I started that line around here, and I took a section through there, but that was so clean and so crisp that I just laid perfectly behind the ear. And then I connected through this way, and I just started graduating and graduating. And then I kind of got my body language and my flow into the stepping through a haircut, because a lot of us stand there stationary on a haircut and bring the haircut to us. And that's when we get over direction, you know, and all sorts of different things that we didn't want. But if you move with the haircut and then keep developing and keep over directing to the previous section, you start building up weight. So it's learning all these little techniques. And then once you've got that, so once you've got the square, the triangle, yeah, the circle, then you've got the line, the layer, and the graduation. Once you understand that, you're in an abundance of creativity. But you can only be in an abundance of creativity if you choose it. If you choose to get rid of all that inner chatter, the negativity, you're anxious about the future, you're dragging your depressive past, and just be in the present. Because when you are in the present, just amazing thing happens. And one of those is your creative side. And as hairdressers, we're creative people. And then we kind of beveled this haircut round. And you can see the graduation just developing, just getting deeper and deeper and deeper as the length gets longer. And graduation is a build-up of length and weight. And that just moves around, just hugs in there lovely, and then scoots around into this lovely little shape at the front. Now, I've been working on that. I like to leave my hair kind of nice. I don't make it nice, like solid and stiff. But, you know, you could put a fringe in there afterwards, and that'll look absolutely delicious and awesome. What do you reckon, guys? Give me a thumbs up if you like that. If you like that technique. Remember, it's something, you know, it's out of the box. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, guys. More of you have joined in. I didn't see you new guys in there. You joined in. So that's the haircut. I mean, look at that. And me and Daryl did that. Yes, buddy.
We've had a question. Where can everybody learn these techniques and these shapes?
What, these ones? I'm holding these ones back, guys. I don't want to like, okay. So here's the deal. They said to me, like, why are you giving it away for free? Why are you educating for free? And I'm like, because I want to. And they're like, yeah, but you're giving away everything. I'm like, but nobody has anything. Nobody's, you know, everybody's worried about money. So for me to go into your pockets and give you unvaluable things would be awful of me. You know, I've heard of a few people taking some courses recently, and you know, they're paying over their, you know, money, and they've gone on this course and they go, I didn't learn anything. And then there's me giving it away for free. But these sort of things, okay, so I started this because I wanted to teach my team and my people, and I thought, you know what, let's get everybody involved. And it was more kind of focused on the ground up. What I'm showing you is just stuff that I want to give you to have a better life, to have a better career. And the next step is when we go deeper. And then my paid courses, which I haven't even made yet. I wrote them and I'm still not like ready to put them out there, but I'm like thinking, yeah, they're coming soon. And they'll come at a time where you want me to be your teacher. You want me to take you through these. And I don't want to do it on a bigger scale. I want to kind of compress it down where I can teach you all, really focus on you. And I'm learning how to do that. So when I teach you these things, there'll be a course available for you to join in. It's a 4-day session. So we're kind of involved, we're impacted, and every single message is written down, it's delivered. And that's to give you more confidence and the courage in cutting. When you go back to the salon, you know what you're going to do and you can't wait for it as well. So let me just get rid of this haircut. What time are we on, Daniel? Beautiful.
Current time is 20 to 12.
20 to 12.
Yep.
Man, I can talk too much, can't I?
Yep, better get a move on.
I can talk too much. And I don't even know what I'm saying sometimes. I'm just like feeling it. I know you can feel it. But hey, I'll tell you what, guys. Right. So there's two things that I do. Sometimes I like, and I was speaking to my therapist yesterday about this. There's a couple of things that I like to do. And that's sometimes to get myself fired up, get myself, you know, fired up, get my energy going, get myself boosted up. You know, it's Tony Robbins. He does this as well. He'll actually come out on and he'll do a few jumps on a trampoline before he goes back on seminar, because he needs to deliver that energy that he gets. He needs to deliver it and give power. And then there's sometimes where you just need to be a bit calmer. So there's two things that I do. When I feel anxiety, I give myself a cuddle. I know that's going to sound weird. I want you to do this now. Can you all stand up for me? Yeah, seriously. Stand up. Stand back. Stand up. Okay. You there? Now, just watch what I do. What we're going to do is we're going to short circuit our brain. And we're going to do something that we don't normally do, because our energy comes from here and it pushes out through our arms and through our body and through everything else. But we're now going to short wire it by doing this. We're going to cross our arms. You feel that? It feels uncomfortable, doesn't it? It's kind of you crossing over. But what you're doing now is you're creating a circle of energy inside you. And that's it. This is just going to calm you down. Now, if you're at number 10 of anxiety right now, I feel you. But where is your anxiety? So 0 to 10, where is it? The numbers just popped into your head. At 0 to 10, 10 being the highest, 0 being the lowest. How much anxiety do you have? You got that number? Okay, so I've got some 6s, got some 7s, I've got a 10, so you're really anxious. Okay, so now I want you to close your eyes and repeat after me in your head. Repeat after me in your head, or say it out loud. Lower my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. And tap away. And as you're tapping, you'll feel yourself just connecting with yourself, that you're concentrating on the tapping and that you're feeling it. And then give yourself a little rub. Have a little break. Okay, lower my anxiety. I'm lowering my anxiety. I'm lowering my anxiety. I'm lowering my anxiety. I'm not looking crazy right now, but we're all crazy together. We're all a little bit mad. We love that little bit of madness. I'm lowering my anxiety. I'm lowering my anxiety. I'm lowering my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. Now you're sitting at 6. You're sitting at 6. Lower my anxiety. You can see that counting down. You can pre-visualize that number 3. It's coming your way. Lower my anxiety. Okay, give yourself a little rub. Okay, open your eyes and breathe. Deep breath. You should feel tingles. And that's the endorphins coming over. That's taking over that negativity. What's that? You're at number 3. You're number 4. Well, let's go again. Let's go lower. Lower your anxiety. I can see you all doing this now. I'm pre-visualizing you all doing this. Lower my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. Listen to my voice and lower my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. Now we're at 2. Lower my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. Ooh. No, let's keep going. Let's get that down. Let's get that anxiety out the window so we can open your minds into being more creativity. Because when you are not anxious, you're more creativity. Lower my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. Lower my anxiety. Oh, feel good, right? Feel good. Let's cut a bob. What we want to start with here, guys. Okay, as we normally start with, combing the hair through. Okay. Now you start at the ends, you work your way up. We're going to go from long to short. This is going to be a perfect bob. Hopefully I get this in shot for you as well. I've got the angles right now. Dan Thomas is going to be the chief of my angles because I keep getting those wrong because, you know, I never know really what I'm concentrating on. And plus I can only see, obviously, the camera. And it's weird not working with a mirror, but there's a few simple techniques that I want you to work with. Now this, we're going to go with a square. Okay. And why is it a square shape? Whenever you cut something that's a square shape, you imitate that with how you stand on the floor. So let's say this was a Jessie J bob. Remember that Jessie J bob? You don't cut a Jessie J bob on a square head, but she pulled it off. So what we're going to predominantly do is make sure that the head position is perfect. And what I usually do there is have the head tilted down, and that creates tightness on the neck. All right, let's get that back up. There we go. So that will create tightness against the neck, and it has it as the neck stretches and shrinks back, stretches and shrinks back. But you have to concentrate on when the head is forward, that the shape that you necessarily want isn't the shape that you're going to cut, because when you bring your head back up, all of that skin in there shrinks back under. So when it's tight, And the idea of a bob and a line, a true line, that's zero, that's cut at 0 degrees. When that is cut, it's cut at its heaviest form. It's the heaviest form of cutting. Layering is the lightest form of cutting. So I'm going to use a product here. It's one that I love. It's Session Label. You've heard me talk about it before. It's just like my go-to products. You're going to want to find your go-to products. Okay, you're going to want to find those because you're going to have limited products on your station, but you're still going to have to, you know, sell them really, really well. Okay. So, you know, get your favorite products that you want personalized to you on your station, the ones that you want to recommend to your guests. Why can I not get that straight today? She's a bit drunk today. I think she's a bit drunk. Okay. So I'm going to use Miracle 15, just a drop of that. Yeah, got a nice little click action on there from Schwarzkopf. Now, I'm a Schwarzkopf ambassador, have been for the last kind of 5 years. I teach for them. I teach essential skills for them. And you know, I'm very passionate about my education. So when you come along, if you're a Schwarzkopf member, you can access my information, my education there. Once we're out of lockdown, you can actually come and have a one-to-one session with me for 2 days. And I take you through the journey of, you know, the fundamentals, the foundations, the simplest and the basics of hair cutting, which will then give you an idea of where you can go from there. Now it's for most for most levels of people. And some people that just want to refresh sometimes. They just want to refresh their stuff. So, right.
Just to correct you there quickly, Dan.
Yeah.
It's not just for members of Schwarzkopf, it's members for everybody. We are perfectionists.
Well, I'm talking about the Schwarzkopf education that I do. And then there's the We Are Perfectionists education that we do. And they're two different things. I've had to kind of make them two different levels. One, I work on with Schwarzkopf. I work to their guidelines and what they want me to teach. And then with We Are Perfectionists, it's just something a little bit different. You know, it's what I teach there is mind over matter as well. And it's heart and it's passion, it's drive, and it's how to get these things that you want out of life, you know, and have those goals. By setting goals, guys, you've activated something in your head. And you don't want to keep running them over in your head. You want to write these goals down. I remember on the first seminar or the first webinar, we wrote down 3 goals. And by writing those 3 goals down, one day you will come across that piece of paper and you'll go, I've done those. That was there. Because it's about manifestation of what you want in life. Okay, so I'm just going to go through, take a center parting. And by writing these things down, you've made the choice of what you wanted to do or wanted to be. And then you will actively take action. So you've taken action by writing these goals down and making them a thing and saying them out loud. And by putting it on paper, you're almost making a document to yourself of what you want in life and what you want to achieve. But you have to have these goals. And don't set them too high. You know, take them bit by bit. You can have your ultimate goal. I have my ultimate goal. I know what I want to do, and I'm doing one of those goals right now, and that's teaching you. I want to be one of the best teachers in the world. How do I do that? I keep doing it. I keep working on it. You know, I've got a long way to go. I see, you know, there's teachers out there that I just think, wow, you're amazing. And what's the difference between me and them? I don't know. You know, I've got a different method of teaching. You know, my perfectionism is one of those that makes me a good teacher. So I've just come straight down there. Remember, when you're using your comb, you hold on to the teeth up there and then you draw back with your whole body. You don't just do it in little pieces. And then we're going to come to the side. I'll get your questions and answers, guys. Now, Dan's going to be listening in and out for some really good questions. And he's going to pass the best questions that you could ask me to me. You know, a question that you've really thought what you want the answer to. And is it hair? Is it life? Is it something? You know, because I've learned everything to become a better hairdresser. Hairdressing has got me through the darkest times in my life. Absolutely. Like, because it's a distraction. It's when the creative brain takes over and you start enjoying something like tinkering. You know, some people, they, you know, use alcohol or drugs, or they bury themselves in stuff they shouldn't bury themselves in. Whereas I get excited when I learn something new. That's what I get excited about, by tinkering and playing and and exercising. That's what I really like. So I choose to do that. So I want you to give me some questions. Really think about your question. And really think about your goals. Really think about your goals. Think about how you're going to get there, how you're going to do that. No goal is really that unrealistic either. Like, you say to yourself, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. I mean, I don't dream of Lamborghinis and Ferraris and stuff like that. They're assets. They're things that I would like, but how am I going to get there? So maybe your goal and your attention should be, once you're a master at your craft, once you've really, really mastered it, and it's going to take you a long time, guys. It's going to take you time to master your craft. Like it takes me a long time to section, because my sections have the most important things here. I want to make sure that everything's in balance, so I give you the best bob. I'm only going to cut you the line today because, it's all the internalness of graduation and the different types of graduation that takes a bit more of interaction. And that talks about, if you're not understanding it, I can't really kind of like hear you or listen to you. So in my obviously courses that I will be putting out eventually, I'm just quite enjoying kind of giving it away at the minute. So,
Dan?
Yes?
I have a question for you.
Okay, who is it? From?
Hannah Jones.
Hello, Hannah Jones. Can we plug her in so she can ask me the question?
1 second. I don't think Hannah has a mic, but I can ask the question for you.
Has Hannah not got a microphone on? No? Can she?
Nope.
Can she
just
message
go
you?
through here. So the question is, I find it really hard being an older person who has recently qualified to get the chance on the salon floor without having the experience.
Okay.
I'm so passionate, but that doesn't seem to be enough.
Enough. So it sounds like you're being held back. Okay, so I need to speak to her to answer that question. I need to understand more about the question she's answering. Can she get a mic on? And we'll go back to that one. But as an older person, you're limiting yourself. You're limiting your own beliefs, I'm afraid. I think it's you causing that. It's you putting that out. The fact that you've even said that, you're manifesting in that. And that's what's happening. But if you don't like something, change it. It's up to you to change it. You make that change. If you're not happy with something in your life, change it. There's so many things out there for you. There's not just one salon. There's not just one boss. Let's take it in America, a lot of people will lose their homes, more than the UK. Now, they can stand there. There can be two types of people. There can be a person there. They both go out and they both try and find a job. And they both come back after a hard day and they didn't get a job. None of them got a job. Now, one of them chose to kind of be defeated by that. And they chose to be defeated, and they sat down, and he would, each day his wife would be moaning at him, and he would get more progressively more kind of angry with himself, hating the world. People aren't giving me the opportunity. And then he's speaking on the phone to his other employed mates, and they're having a good chat, and they're just bouncing negativity between them. But then the other guy, he would then go and work for free for this company. He went to this company and he said, like, I need a job and I don't want to be paid. I just need a purpose in life. And this has happened to me in my career quite a few times. I just need a job, and do you know what he did? He turned up earlier than everybody else. He was more active than anybody else. He learned that business like more than anybody else, and he weren't getting paid. But then one day, I would say a stylist left. The manager left. Guess who they chose for that promotion? The guy that turned up every day with passion and didn't want to be paid for it. That's the difference. You either keep going and it will come your way and you manifest to that, or you sit back and let it absorb you. And that'll be by your mindset. And I know you find it difficult now, but if you keep learning and you show that, and you show that person that you want to work for, that you are worthy of that job, you will get that job.
Hannah says she offered to work for free, but they wouldn't let her because of insurance reasons.
They just lied to you. It's a complete lie. So take that as a knock. And with knocks, you get back up. You refuse to take that decision. And you go again and again and again. And it might be that salon that you don't want to go for. You might want to choose another salon, and it might take you a little bit out of your comfort zone. It might be somewhere else, but there's something better for you. I promise you. And that person that gave you the no, that's someone you do not want to work for. I'm afraid that's somebody you do not want to work for. They did, they didn't believe in you when you believed in them. You've offered to work for free, but maybe they knew that something else was for you. Maybe they knew that another salon was be more suited to you. I don't know. Look at it as, where's the positives in that? Or did you take that knock on that door? I've been turned down by a lot of people. I've been turned down. I've always wondered why. Okay, so here's the bob, guys. I have sectioned, not very cleanly. I can see that because I'm trying to concentrate on that. It's not very clean. But can you forgive me for that? Nah. Sorry, got to go back in. Sorry. I just turned that around and went, that's shocking. I'm teaching the top level of hairdressing and I didn't even section that right. So I'm going to do it again. And that's the difference. You can either make do with what you've got, that's okay, or always keep questioning your abilities, questioning whether you're good enough, and recheck yourself. Someone who checks themselves, yes, double check yourself, always double check yourself. Someone who double checks everything, has a more successful life. That is one of the habits of success. Double check. Yes, Daniel. Buddy.
Are the sections straight or slightly angled down to avoid rounding up?
I'm going to teach you through that now. Once I get my section nice. So I'm taking a small section. Now, this is the foundation section. This is the section that dictates everything. Okay, that's good. That's good enough for me. That is definitely good. That's much better. I'm glad I redid that. I'm using my flat clips as well. I only use flat clips and I don't really, get the hair kind of springing up into action everywhere, like curling it up, because I want the hair to stay in its most natural state. I want the hair to be as smooth as possible as it keeps coming down into sections. So if you're using like shark clips and grabbing the hair, it's not good. Now the water spray here, this is another good one. Make sure that it's not too wet and you always kind of keep the hair, the same moisture content all the way through. So first of all, this is a redesign. Now the sections are slightly slanted. And the reason they're slightly slanted is because I can then slightly give the sides a little bit of over direction. I'm not actually going to cut this as a straight line. I'm actually going to put a bend to it because of the skin. So I'm going to get the head that's slightly pivoted forward. Now, obviously, she's a plastic doll, so she hasn't got skin. Remove the excess. Here's a tip to cut a lovely bob, okay? When you hold your comb, you do not hold your comb like this in your hand. Your comb should be an extension of your fingertips only. Fingertips. You should just like this, yeah? You feel me? Fingertips, just fingertips. You should feel the depth and the control of the depth of the comb. And as you move the hair left and right, it will fall into position. If you comb the hair like this, like holding it like this, and you come in there, look, watch, what happens to the hair, and the outcome of the hair is it flicks out, because that's the motion and the pressure that you're putting on it. But as soon as I move that, and I just move it to left and right, the hair tucks under. You'll see that through the whole haircut. Now watch this. And my phone just went off, sorry. There we go. I'm going to put some music on. Is that right, Daniel?
Yeah, that's fine. And just a quick time check for you. It's 12 o'clock.
Cool. I'm going to nail this haircut out for you guys. Just going to put some tunes on. I like to work with music. There we go. Tell me if it irritates you. Can you hear that? I'm listening to this one. This is mine and Dan's photo shoot. Get the models
actually
going.
Can't hear it.
You can't hear it? Oh,
No.
That's good. That's good then. But this one gives me the energy inside. There's two things that I do. One to calm me down and one to fire me up. Look like a nutter. Come on, come on, come on. Now get you excited. Let's cut some hair. All right. So what we're going to do, and I'm just going to get straight into this. There's things that I want to look at now. And one is just kind of separating a little bit of the outsides away. Can you see that? Okay. Now I'm going to try and get the right angle. Daniel, am I at the right angle for you?
Yes, that's a good angle.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying not to get in front of the camera, but I'm going to try and get into here. Now, what we want to do is just cut a pre-length. So we dictate. Remember, we're coming left, we're coming right. We're getting all the hair into the same direction. And then we're coming down and under and in, out, in, out. Look at that line. Now, because this is a slight diagonal, we're going to stand behind her and we're just going to tilt that slightly down like that. Boom. Then we're going to come over this side. Now I'm going to cut this side slightly different. I'm going to put something in here, just there. Then I'm going to pull this slightly back and allow for a mistake here. I always get a mistake there. Let's have a look. See it there? There's the mistake. Okay. So I always know that I do that. And it's about knowing your mistakes that will make you a better hairdresser. Know where sometimes your limitations are and you know your habits. Sometimes it's okay to have bad habits as long as you know them. You know how to control them. And there's your line. And that's it. Now we take another section. So using the wide teeth for the comb, you come straight back down. It's about a centimeter. You want to be able to see your section underneath. The more time you put into something, the more energy you put into something, the more dedication you put into something, the more creativity you put into something, the better the outcome. Clip in, over to the other side. Let's go around this side. Stand over this side, draw it to your finger, have a look over, check your level, go over there. We kind of know where it was. I'm using the Akito 5.5 scissor. I want to do a little competition with you later. Would someone like to win a pair of scissors purchased by me? Would you? Put your thumbs up if you want to win a pair of Akito scissors.
Oh, yes. Everybody wants to win that.
Yeah? All right. I'm going to do that. By giving, I'm going to receive, though, right? By giving, I'm going to receive. Okay. Everybody wants a new pair of Akito scissors. I'm going to do a deal with Akito later. I'm going to promote them. We're going to promote you. And then we're going to promote my page. We are Perfectionists. You're going to promote my YouTube page. We're going to get some noise. Create me. Help me. I'm helping you. Please help me. Okay. So now we have the two angles. We've done it exactly the same on both sides. Okay. So now we've got a little bit of lift there, but that's okay. Okay. Now I'm going to comb the hair. Going to take the weight off the hair so I can kind of get it to kind of feel a little bit better. Now I'm going to cut each section of that. I'm going to cut slightly longer than the previous. Okay. So that's in there. I'm going to get my hair in the right direction, just using my comb as depth. And I'm going to cut slightly under there. Now there's a few ways of holding your scissor. One is to hold it like this. One, you can hold it like that. That's fine. One, you can kind of get in there. But I tilt my blade slightly under. So every single snip of the hair that I do is slightly undercut. Yep. I'm making sure that I'm standing right behind my guest at all times. If I see my cut going off, I stop, I check, I double check. I think about it. I really visualize it. You know, as creative people, we're very good pre-visualizers, such as the greatest sportsmen in the world. They the pre-visualization of a golfer, of a boxer, of a, you know, racing car driver. You know, the pre-visualization of that is they're incredibly creative minds, and they're creative in different ways. You know, like we're creative, we can pre-visualize a haircut once you've learned it. So I'm going to draw this back. Look at me drawing that back. You can see it there. And then moving that hair around. Now I'm just going to double check that. I can see that's drifting down a little bit. I'm always aware of being aware. So you can see that's curving beautifully. And then we're just dropping it down on the other side. So I just need to kind of refix that, look at it, give it another little spray to just make sure it's nice. Make sure that my sections aren't too off. And then like move the hair under, come underneath here and just refocus on that little area. Try and stay in very good control with your blade. You see it there, look, there it is. And that's just the hair just bending around for me. Then we're going to take and start building up sections, but things do start to change as you work up this haircut. You know, it's just a bob. Is it just a bob? When was the bob created, guys? Answer me that question. When was the bob and who created the bob? Do you know? Why is it called a bob?
Dan, quick question.
Yep.
Why do you cut slightly longer each time?
Because when the elevation of the hair is in its natural state, and that's a dry state, at the minute the hair is wet, so it's heavier, the elasticity is different. But when the hair is dried, what will happen is you'll create natural lift. And that natural lift will progressively get bigger and bigger and bigger as you get the hair more drier and drier. And then the depth of the hair will take over as well. So as the hair as your sections get deeper and deeper, what's going to happen is that it's going to start springing out a bit more and a bit more and a bit more. Do you know what I mean? So each section that I put on there has to sit underneath. So in its wet state, there's one line. Then I tuck another line. Then the next one will go on underneath there. But I'm talking like millimeters of perfection, of just kind of controlling that. So when the hair starts breathing off of the head a little bit more and out of its natural state, that's what happens. It progressively, my sections are terrible today, guys. I don't know what's going on there. I'm just going to run with that. But I'm going to run with it on this side. I think it's because I'm trying to, it's unnatural the way that I'm positioning myself to camera. So I'm trying to turn myself, you know, my awareness to that. I'm having to pay double attention. So my brain like pretty much is going off in itself. Like, okay, right, my body's doing this, and I'm trying to get the angle of this. I'm trying to think of what I'm saying, what I'm teaching, how I'm cutting. You know, I'm not ashamed if I make mistakes. You all make mistakes. Anybody that doesn't make mistakes has stopped learning. Anybody who thinks they're really too perfect, they've stopped being a perfectionist. And they won't. You know, that's another thing. You know, it's like if I'm somewhere and I presume that I'm the best person in the room and I've gone for a lesson and I'm the best person in the room, why am I in that room? Okay, so here, you see the natural weight is just beveling off. So I'm just going to pull that under, put a little bit of pressure on. Remember when you put pressure on something as well, it kind of pushes it down. So, and then when it bounces up, you've seen that in fringes, when you've cut a fringe wet. So I'm going to move the hair left, right, really get it right in position. I'm making sure that I'm staying behind my line, pre-visualizing the square on the floor as well, putting a slight little curve to the sides as the hair lifts up. I want to get this bang on, absolutely bang on for you. Let's see how quickly we can do this as well. Watch this. Underneath, underneath, underneath. Move the hair over, underneath, get underneath. Get underneath. I don't know if you can see that. Can they see that, Dan?
So everyone can see that?
Yeah, are you okay with that angle? Good. We're just checking the angles for you guys. I will set up another camera that we'll be able to operate soon. Obviously, you know, I've spent all of this and invested all my money into making sure I can get these webinars to you. I invested a lot of money, probably about £2,000 in total. Time, priceless.
A question as you work. Are you bringing it back to just the previous section when over directing?
I'm going to figure that one out. Why? Okay. So what am I doing? So what I'm doing, the reason I'm doing this is here, there's no weight behind the ear. So if you start lifting up that angle there, too rounded, when you put the head up again, so if you cut a straight line when the head is down, imagine what that's going to do. Yeah. So if you cut a straight line now, like that, and then you put the head up, see that? It lifts up. Sorry. So if I cut a straight line, so I'm doing a slight curve and over directing that back. So it's a square line. It's a square. It's not the curve. It's a square. And because we're working on a circular head, and then when that head lifts up, if I've cut that like that as a line, you look at it when she puts her head straight back up, with the angles change. So you always have to kind of have this squareness with the corners. And then when we come around to the other side, you'll see it connect. And the reason why that does that, and that's because of the weight and the length and the depth of control of the hair. There is no hair behind the ears. So we have all this lovely density at the base here, just underneath the occipital bone, but then we start running out behind the ears. So that's why we overextend. And what we do is we pull it in and we just bring it in like this, bring it in. And that's just overextending these. So you get that little bevel. It's the tiniest bevel, guys. But once that's blow dried out, so now look, comb the hair. And get underneath. Make sure, look, I'm second guessing it all the time. Underneath, have a look. Get your scissor under there. And you've almost like you're hovering your scissor because you can't really push against the hair. And take a step to the left, but stay behind your, stay behind. Okay, stay behind. Let me show you this side. Stay behind. This might be easier to see this way, see? So comb the hair, look at it, roots to ends. Roots to ends. See, as it tucks under, it kind of forms your shape. Get underneath. Slide in, slide out. Pull this back, pull it back, then comb down. Don't step around, don't walk into your corner. See that? Just drops out and it looks like a line, but I've overextended it. Same again this side. Now I'm going to stand over here. And under. Now I'll break this down. Some people would kind of choose to cut that way. That's a very old-fashioned way of cutting, and I found it very difficult. So I just break it down into nice little pieces. Those that are a little bit younger into your career, follow these rules, master them, become the creator of them. These are your foundations of how to cut a line. Once you learn these and you master these, the abundance of creativity will be amazing. Now I'm going to cross check. The way I cross check is I check my lengths. I'm longer on one side. I'm longer down here, but let me see why. There. So now look, see as I move the hair. See, as it kind of lifts, it's lifting up, it's moving around. I need to get this little bit underneath here. I need to really concentrate, double check myself. The less refinement I have to do afterwards, the better. There it is. I love doing this. This is, you know, cutting bobs for me is a true art of the eye. It's a true creation. You know, you can do shattered haircuts all day long and chop at it. But, you know, when you're set this task of cutting a bob has to look like a bob. She wanted a bob. She got a bob. Yeah? Socks falling off. You don't even know what I'm wearing underneath here, do you? So yesterday I had some, like, I won't talk about it. My man's online. He reminded me, he said, you weren't wearing any pants yesterday, were you? Cheers, buddy. Like, yeah, glad you noticed. Quite funny though. So now we're going to pop that up. Here is my last section here. But the reason that we've got it on a diagonal here, you see the diagonal, what it helps me do is put the comb in and pull. What you do with your sections dictates what the outcome of the haircut. You know, if that was more of a straight line, I'd probably lean into the line a lot more. You guys put some music on. What's your favorite music? Put your tune on in the background. Because with emotion, is music. And we learn more when
Dan?
we're in an emotional state. You know that?
Dan?
Yes.
Two things. Our guest would like to know if you're still okay for 3:30 or if you would like to
What
have
time
him
is it
come
now?
later. It's coming up to 20 past.
Really fast. I'm mate. I'll be ready. Once I get through these 2 sections, Robert, guys, you're going to hear Robert Eaton. Like, I love this guy. His creativity. He's real. He's real. Like, he's just a normal guy that's just became British hairdresser of the year. What did that mean? How did he get there? What was his mindset? Did he know that was happening to him? Did he have a pre-creation? Did he think about it? Did he make it happen? Did he manifesto? Did he just fucking believe in himself, you know? So yeah, we'll get him on as soon as I get around to this side, because right here, look guys, here's the difference. Big tip. So if I comb the hair now, look at that. Remember the way I don't want you to do it? Look at that. And you comb that down, look at it pressing. Look at it turning out. You see it, it flicks out. But as soon as you put the comb in and you dance with the hair and you move it, it just creates that, it just sits where you want it to sit. Get underneath, guys, get underneath. Comb it down, left, right. Let the hair breathe away from the head. Let it sit on its last section. Come underneath, pull that under, come underneath that section. Little tiny cuts. That's all you need. Just make sure you're on an eye line with it. So you'll be sat on a stool. Look, now just slightly pull that back. Slightly pull that back. Get it under. Cut away, cut away, cut away. Done. Next side. I'll show you. You're really getting underneath this side. This is always my worst side. We've always got a worse side. And that's because we're left or right-handed. We can't help that. There's some people out there who are geniuses and can use both hands. They scare me. They freak me out. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you do that? That's amazing. But imagine if you could teach yourself to use a left-handed pair of scissors in your left hand. Imagine you could do that. Like, everything's possible.
Dan?
Everything is possible. Yes, my friend.
Another technical question as you cut from Jasmine Sutton.
Yeah.
Are you cutting with the comb to avoid elevation from your fingers?
Yeah. So sometimes, guys, we get clients which have like quite difficult hairlines. And that sometimes is where I will push down my line and I will use my finger to push it down and control it. Not necessarily, maybe you shouldn't have done that haircut, because if you've got to put that much pressure onto a haircut to make it work for you, imagine what the client's going to walk away with. That's going to be flicking out madness all the way through. But sometimes you need to put pressure on it, you know, sometimes. But try and cut with the freedom of your comb, because it allows the hair to breathe and expand. So it kind of lifts it off. You know, if you think about the depth now, okay, so there's the depth. Look how deep that is. That's an inch deep. By here, it's 1.5 inches deep. So you have to let the hair rest itself on its own position. Now, things change. If you just change a few things, okay, so we're going to put the head in more of an upright position now. So we've got that, we've lined it up. Now, I'm going to go straight from the back all the way to the front. Now, you can, if you want to, depending what kind of outcome of the barb or what angle you want at the front, you can make the choice to change that from just cutting all the back and then integrating the sides later. What I tend to do is I integrate the sides early, about now, and leaving that down there so I can continue with my frame. And if I needed to make any adjustments, I could definitely do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this side first. So I'm going to create my base shape. Now I'm going to come back around from the back again. I'm going to cut off the excess. Just down here, don't cut off too much. Any of you guys follow my YouTube yet? I'm new to it, so I'm learning. Anybody followed it?
We have a few subscribers. However, I can put the link in again so everybody can subscribe.
Oh, please, guys, because you'll be able to kind of re-watch this and send it to the people that didn't kind of have the opportunity. Maybe they've got children. They couldn't kind of get the little bit of time off. Okay, now I'm coming to my side. I'm going to stand at the side of my haircut. So there's the flat side of the haircut. Boom, cut it. Now I'm going to stand at the next side of the haircut. Why? Because it's a square. If I wanted it to be more circular, I'd round with my shape. I'd draw a circle on the floor, but actually I'm going to draw a square on the floor. The floor is square. Now I move in square ways of working. I work in lines. That reflects on the hair and the outcome of what it is up here. Remember that. So
Dan, quick question. Yeah. What's the blue spray?
The blue spray is water. It's water. Okay, so now the blue spray is, I don't like to throw away plastic. So I use all my products that I use in the salon. I just refill them full of water. And that's it. But it was Moisture Kick. Now, with every client that I do, I always put a prep spray on, and I always choose, one of my kind of leave-in sprays or cream or something like that. So now we're at the side of the haircut, guys. You can see got a tiny little section, so it's nice and light. So remember, this is lighter than the back. So we've got to be a bit more delicate with it. I'm going to stand at the side of her here and pull this hair down. I'm going to get my line. I'm going to cut it. Now, I'm going to put a bit of control between my fingers, and then come underneath and cut. I don't want it to lift too much. Now I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at my line, and that's lovely. Now I've left it a tiny little bit ungulated. Now what I will do is I'll keep building these sections up. So now I'll go for a bigger section. I'll go do 2 on this side, because the energy that I'm going to put into the haircut has to be on both sides. So I'll do 2 sections on this side, and then I'll do another 2 sections on there. So guys, I want you to listen out. On my Instagram later, I'm going to create a competition. And the reason I'm going to create that competition is to create more awareness. So I'm going to give you something for doing it, and I will pick the winner. That winner, as long as I get up to a nice height and I'm happy with the level of it, and you guys did a good job for me, and you helped promote me and Robert Eaton and Justin, our social media guru, and Dan Thomas, and we are Perfectionists. I'm going to send you a free pair of scissors. You're going to choose them off the website. I'm going to put my bank details in, and then I'm going to send them to you. How about that? Okay, so again, now come around the back of the haircut. You're at the back. Remember to stay at the back until you want to be at the sides. Okay, so pull that hair around. Now we're on the second circle of the head. So the hair's reacting differently. So it's coming over, and now it's coming down. So you've got to be even more gentle with that. Make sure it's all coming down into the right position and cut perfectly, leaving that a little bit longer than the previous. Yeah, remember to keep your actions the same as you did all the way through the haircut, where it's copy, repeat, copy, repeat. Now we're going to go to the side of the haircut. Have we got Robert on the line?
Robert is here. He is just waiting.
Is he plugged in? Now we're going to get a bit of control at the front of the haircut here, guys. I really appreciate you, Robert. I mean, me and Robert, we've always stayed in touch, virtually. Always stayed in touch virtually. We've always had, the same ideology of hairdressing and the beauty of it. Except for that guy became a god very quickly. And he's going to tell you how he did it. Hopefully. You let me know when he's online, Dan. He's plugged in. Do I need to promote him or anything like that? Or can you do that?
Yeah, you just need to promote him.
Can you do that from where you are?
That's your job.
That's my job. Where is he? Where is he? There we go. Well, I'm going to put in Robert and see what comes up. There he is. Here's the man. All right. Can I hear you? Can we hear him? Robert Eaton, are you there?
Hi, Daniel.
Hello, brother. Can everybody hear him? Right, give me a thumbs up if you can all hear Robert Eaton. Give me a thumbs up.
We can hear him. Does Robert have any video?
I'm just trying to get that working now, guys. I don't know.
What's a video? Let me get you a video. I'm going to prop you up on the video. We want to see your lovely face, if that's okay. All right, let's promote. There we go. And then hopefully I can then put you on more, and then I can make a co-host. Make Robert co-host. Yeah, these are technical things here. Okay, so now we need. Hopefully this should work. I'm getting better at this. Right. Let's try it. Maybe this will work. It's not working, is it? There we go.
Hi. Okay.
There we go, brother.
You're all right.
So this is Robert Eaton. I gave him a massive introduction. Robert, I just want you to take over whilst I get into the haircut.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
There's only like these guys, maybe some of them don't know you, but they should. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can see the salon that stands behind this man, and it's come from generations. Mm-hmm. This wasn't just built in a day. This came from pure passion between him and his family and his upbringing, and he became the best. Robert, I'm going to leave you to it, but I want to ask you, what's your secret to success, and how are you feeling now, and what are you putting in yourself to get through this time? What are your things, your coping mechanisms, and all this? I'm going to listen to you as well.
Thank you for inviting me on. It's really great to see what you're doing here, Daniel. It's a really amazing idea, and you're obviously giving a lot back to the industry by doing this. So for anybody who doesn't know me, my name's Robert Eaton. I'm part of a family business that's based in Barnsley and Leeds. The family business has been established about 43 years now. So we've seen lots of different things over that period. I used to work on Saturdays, so I've been about 11 years old. And then as soon as I left school, I loved the hairdressing industry so much. I wanted to be part of the family business straight away. So I actually did like an MVQ whilst I was still at school. And then I started and worked my way through what was a fairly traditional apprenticeship with Dad in the salon in Barnsley, the one that I'm in now. And I was very fortunate that Dad's always been a really progressive hairdresser. He's always been really passionate about the industry. So I used to go along to hair shows and events, read Hairdresser's Journal every week, and really kind of absorb as much as I could from as many different people as I possibly could. And I got a real strong grounding in what the creative side of the industry was all about. So I knew straight away that I wanted to try to be as successful as possible and really explore as many different avenues in the hairdressing industry as I could.
Why? Tell me why?
I think for me, because I'd seen what the hairdressing industry can offer, and hopefully anybody that's watching this now, so if there's many younger hairdressers that are watching this, the hairdressing industry can take you in so many different directions. I know obviously at the moment it's a really uncertain time and there's lots of things that are changing in the industry, but we will get back to whatever this new normal is, and there'll still be loads of different opportunities and ways of being creative in the hairdressing industry. So hairdressing for me has taken me from working in a salon, doing a traditional apprenticeship, to building a strong client base, to then working on shows and competitions and events. It's helped me to travel all over the world, giving me the opportunity to work on radio, TV, lots of different things that have come from it, as well as being super creative with clients, being able to be creative with the kind of artistic work that we do, from photographic collections to working on video. So there's so many different things really. And I think that's one of the key things I wanted to get across to any young hairdressers that are watching this, not to get disheartened by what's happening at the moment in the industry. I know it's a very, very uncertain time, but it's still a really exciting time for us in the hairdressing industry, because if we use this time correctly and really work on perfecting our skills, educating ourselves, and really getting ready to get back into our salons, you'll be far better placed when we are working again to become even stronger and better than you perhaps already were before. It looks great, that, Daniel, by the way.
Is it all right? Is it to your level? Is it to your standard, brother? Is it? I'm seeing the growth of education. Now, there's some people that have gone, I don't want to do that. And that's okay too. But those people that have done that, I mean, are people standing out for you right now that you've never seen before? Is the tables turned a little bit? Yeah.
So when I first began in hairdressing, it was very much about going to a seminar to watch the iconic hairdressers that you may have respected and admired at that time. So for me, I used to go and watch Carolyn Newman. She was an incredible educator. She was one of the first big courses I came away from feeling massively inspired. And I've always really loved what the Charles Worthington brand did at the time when she was working there. And obviously she's gone on to progress and do her own thing afterwards as well. So I remember going and watching people like Carolyn and actually thinking, wow, this is amazing, some of the stuff I was learning at that particular time. And then I think the key to it is to take it away and give these ideas your own slant and really take them and progress them further and see how they fit into your own business or your own education that you may be delivering. The difference now is obviously there's education everywhere. So you can go on Instagram, Facebook, you can see videos, you can look at images that people are producing on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, in fact, when things are being posted. So actually everything's a lot more accessible. And I think people in the industry themselves are a lot more accessible. So whereas before you maybe would have to go to a hairdressing event to chat to somebody and to actually meet them and make that connection, now we can just do it by a simple message on Instagram or Facebook. And you feel like you get to really know that person quite well by the images that they're posting and the sort of work that you sort of see them producing. So it's a really exciting time for hairdressing generally, I think. And also, I think what has been a big shift and a big change over recent years is it's not always about the big budget shoots that perhaps everybody used to do before as well. I mean, they've still got a very important place in the industry, but it's also nice to see real hairdressing that's created by people in salons, and it makes it all so much more accessible than ever before. So I think for me, it's that blend of the two areas. It's doing these, hopefully what are very inspirational, aspirational shoots on perhaps a bigger budget, but also seeing the amazing work that's created by hairdressers across the country and across the world on Instagram and by looking at the work that they are doing. So yeah, lots of big changes. So it's about 23 years I've been hairdressing for now, and it's been lots of changes over that time.
You don't look old enough.
It's my 40th in 2 weeks' time, so we're now in lockdown for my 40th.
You're 40?
Yeah.
What are we doing for? Are we having a big party?
Zoom party, I think.
We're going to have a Zoom party. Am I invited?
Yeah, we'll have to do
I'm coming,
hairdressing Zoom party, I think, with hairdressing friends.
Hey, so if there's one thing that I really want to kind of get into the habits of a successful person.
Yeah.
And a successful hairdresser, because there must be things that you've done differently to everybody else. What could you put your finger on? You know, I know that's kind of giving yourself that self-gratitude, and that's okay.
I think for me, I think it's about being really dedicated, never giving up. So constantly striving to perfect your skills, to learn as much from as many different people as possible. And that's one of the things I've always tried my best to do, even if I don't necessarily like or it's not the style of work that I would feel comfortable doing. I'd always want to learn from as many different people as possible. Yeah. And I think it's been able to adapt your skills and keep looking at what's happening in the industry and the changes in the industry. But most of all, I mean, certainly from the Hairdressing Awards perspective, I think it is about doing your apprenticeship, learning about creating images, but also staying true to the work that you like to see as well. I mean, the work that I produce is certainly not, I would say what I do is very salon friendly and very commercial. It's not about,
and that's a new thing.
Things that are kind of really crazy and really out there. Although I've worked on that kind of stuff over the years. But one of the things that we always try to do is it has to have a business element to it, so that I can bring some of the work back to the salon and it relates to our clients and it relates to the work that our team members can recreate and produce in the salon as well. And I think for me, that has always been something that's really important. And also one of the big things for us as well, we've got 2 salons. So we have a certain amount of budget that we can spend on shoots and shows and seminars and the work that we do. But it also, but we're not the same as having a huge academy as some of the big groups may have. So our objectives from the images that we create are different to perhaps an academy that's producing haircuts and colours for education purposes as well. So I feel fortunate in some ways that I can just do the work that I like to see and that I want to represent our brand well. And then the other thing I think I would say the biggest piece of advice would be is to make sure that you network and to try to connect with as many people as you possibly can in the industry as well, because that's a big part of getting your name out there and getting known within the industry as well. I'm going to mention Daryl, who I know you know really well, Daniel, as well. I know that he's probably watching this as well. He's doing an amazing job at the moment of really connecting with everybody and getting his name out there and really networking. And I think it's a great thing to be able to sort of do that. And it does take many years to perhaps perfect your skills and find your own style and to train your eye in the kind of thing that you want to see aesthetically. But I would say that would be my biggest piece of advice, just to be determined, passionate about what you do and to keep at it, basically. And it's taken me many years to get to the stage where I'm at now. And I'm still, still learning constantly and looking at what everybody's doing in the industry. And I gain a lot of inspiration from looking at a lot of younger hairdressers and what everybody else is doing at the moment, because, that just shows how the industry is evolving and changing. And that's what makes our industry such an exciting place to be as well.
Incredible, mate. You've got so much. You've done so much. Like,
well, like you have, Daniel, as well. I mean, I know we've chatted a lot about you've done so much TV work and media stuff. I mean, and again, that sort of stuff is a skill in itself, to be confident at doing that kind of work. I mean, one of the things I found when I first started, I didn't naturally find it easy getting up and talking in front of people. I was always quite shy and a bit nervous about that. And I think as a person, I'm not necessarily somebody who's very loud and out there. So I think I had to really work on trying to push myself a bit more and become a bit more confident at that point.
Was it more where the confidence came from the heart? When you really understood and you really knew what you were doing and you knew what you were talking about, and people, you got good. There's one day where you just, I'm good at this because I want to be good at it.
Yeah. And I think it's believing in yourself that you know the work that you're doing. In my thing is as well, it's understanding that the work that we all produce might all be slightly different, and it doesn't mean to say that everybody has to love or like what you do. Yeah. But as long as you love and like what you do, I think that is the main thing really. And there's so many different styles of hairdressing, and there really is something out there for everybody now. It's not that there's, you all have to try to be everything. You could be a specialist in balayage, you could be a specialist in precision haircuts, it may be long hairdressing or things that are quite editorial and avant-garde. So there's so many different areas of hairdressing that you can perfect and become good at. One thing that I feel I'm very grateful for, though, as well, is my dad came from a Sassoon background with his education and having worked at Sassoons. So we've got a very strong sort of technical training and background, a bit like yourself, Daniel. But one of the things that he always encouraged with myself is to make sure I learnt all aspects of the industry. So I learnt a lot about colour as well as shapes and cuts. So I think actually I'm very grateful about that, because it means I can adapt and use the different skills in any sort of environment that I go into. So if it's on a shoot, I can adapt my skills quite quickly to be able to dress long hair or work with wigs or extensions.
Is there something that you're not good at?
The of hair loss and working with wigs and things as well. I mean, I love all that side of industry, and I trained to be a trichologist about 4 years ago, and that was something I loved, and that kind of naturally kind of happened over a few years. I was working on wigs and hair pieces for clients that had lost their hair to alopecia or chemotherapy treatments, and I was doing loads of work with wigs, and I felt I really needed to understand the medical side of hair loss. So there's so many different areas of the industry you can get involved with.
And yours have just exploded. You just exploded. I mean, the passion that you have for that. Now, I think I'm going to reach in a bit deeper here, bro.
Yeah.
I saw a photo of you and your father put together. And, obviously my history, I lost my father when I was a very young boy. But I think the reason you're successful is because you want to make that man proud.
Yeah, there is. Do you know what? Actually, it's an interesting question, that actually, Daniel, because I think when you work in a family business, you almost feel like you have to prove yourself even more. We've got some amazing team members that work with us, and the Russell Eaton family. We're all pretty close with our business. We all get on really well, and we've got a great team of really creative people. But I think certainly in the earlier days when I was a bit younger, I did feel that pressure to sort of really prove myself, really, I suppose, and to justify why I'd chosen to go into the hairdressing industry, and not just done it because it was an easy option, because it was a family business.
I bet that was always hovering over you. Yeah,
always been really successful as well. I wanted to make my dad proud, but also, make our family proud and see if I could take our business in a different direction. And I love the fact that we work together as a family. My sister's a hairdresser, my mum works in the business as well. And I think that is our strength, that we work together like that. But yeah, there isn't, you're right with that, Daniel. I think it is you do want to always make people proud, or feel like you've achieved what I wanted to achieve. And I still feel like I've got a long way to go with that still, even though I've met certain goals at the moment with regards to the hairdressing awards and things. There's so many other things in the industry I want to try and do and be successful with.
Do you know if you've been voted for this year?
I don't know, actually. I know I think the nomination forms have gone out, so we'll see whether that happens again. I mean, it's a huge honour to be. Last year when I won, I was just so happy to be up there with everybody. I never in a million years expected that I would win. Certainly win first time. I was just you probably saw on the night. I was so shocked that I'd won. And for me, just to be up there with all the other names that have been my kind of icons in the industry for so many years as well. So with Errol Douglas and Hooker and Young, I love Adam Reed and what he does. I mean, and also what last year, all our individual styles were so different as well. So it was quite a difficult one to sort of gauge whether I'd win or not at all, because the style of work was so different, and everybody's style and work that they produced was amazing. But just different. So I was pleased that from a salon's perspective, I hope what I represent with what I do is that it represents work that people will hopefully be doing in salons, and it's there to try and represent what a hairdresser is all about, that works in a hairdressing salon.
Well, man, I feel fired up. I feel fired up just listening to you, the creation of your life and what you've done with it and the choices that you've made. And you wasn't just given it. The fact that it was there, you had to prove yourself more, and you were forever looking for more approval, because so my children didn't go into hairdressing, or my eldest didn't, because she didn't want to be just given it. So I can see where you came from. Yeah. And I see where you're going for, and your legacy is only just started to grow, brother. I thank you for your time, my friend. I'm going to finish my
thank you so much for asking me anyway. Thank you. And good luck, and sending lots of love to everybody who's watching this today as well.
Thanks, bro. I'll see you soon. Take care, my brother. Thanks, mate. Amazing. Right, guys. Let's finish this barb. Do you enjoy that? Yes?
If you can just demote Robert for me.
Sorry? Demote. Oh, bless him. I don't want to demote him. There we go. Let's have a look. Reclaim host. There we go. Does that work? How's that, bro?
I think it has, yes. Thank you.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, so we're on our final piece of the haircut, guys, and then we're going to take a nice little break. What a treat for you today. Have Robert Eaton speak directly to you. Daryl, he gave you a mention. Daryl, you got off your ass and you did something amazing. You're doing something great. Believe in yourself. You're inspiring people as you're developing. You're inspiring them to do the things that you should be doing. And these are the things that we teach, reach out to people. Okay, so now I've gone into natural fall, guys. Where is the parting going to fall back from? Is it going to be blow dried down to the center down here? No, it's going to fall. It's going to be dressed. So I've switched to the opposite side of my comb, and I'm just letting the hair be hair. Remember, I'm going through the hair with long strokes. But now I want to switch over because I want even less tension. So I'm going to switch over to my bigger comb. This is a YS Park comb. And I'm just going to move that hair into a position. Have a keep looking at it because I want natural fall now. I want it to naturally fall where I want it to go. I don't want to push it into anything. And it's okay to have a little bit of hair that hangs over this edge because I'm going to refine that after. But remember, that's really flat there. And sometimes we have a lot of volume. So if we're now putting a lot of pressure on that bob, you're going to get graduation. So I'm just going to go around the bottom edge. There are only tiny pieces of hair. Yeah. And remember, I'm going to stand according to my haircut. So now I'm square on. Remember, your shapes dictate how they come out. I'm still buzzing about seeing my man there talk about his life like that and the things that he's achieved. He's British Hairdresser of the Year. I think I'd cry my eyes out if I ever got nominated. And I would do my best work. Dan Thomas would be my best photographer because we would create magic, Dan. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? If we got a chance to enter. I've always shot my collections, you know, with Dan from a young age. You know, I started a few collections when I was before my relationship started with Daniel Thomas, and I mean that in a work relationship and a friendship relationship. I believed in him, he believed in me, and it just worked. And we've created some beautiful shoots. You can go over to danielgrangerhairdressing.com or look at my work on my Instagram. Just go back, you know, and look at the stuff that we've created, the imagination. You can see when I was in my darkest times as well, and you can see when I was in my lightest times, and that reflects in my work.
And some crazy times.
We had some crazy times. Now I'm just going to show you something here, guys. Okay, so we're on our last section there. Now, what I want you to do is always kind of pull this back, and just pull it over a little bit, but make sure the combing direction's always down. It's not dragged over. Then just come underneath and just slope it under. Just capture that there. Yeah. Remember, the blade is slightly pointed under. Again, on the opposite side. You know, Dan Thomas has won quite a lot of awards for his photography work, especially in the industry. You know, he became a legend in his field. Sorry to talk about you when you're here. And he's the most affordable one because he doesn't really. There's something about Daniel that he likes to live an easy, non-stressful life. And I honor that, you know, a minimalist. So his creativity can be in more abundance, because with more worries about paying this, paying that, having the, you know, the big house and, you know, having the most expensive, his creativity would be dampened. And that's what I appreciate about him. He's very humble in what he wants from life. And that's when his best work comes out of it. And, you know, he's traveled the world doing photography. And we've shot together for years. And those photos will be there forever. They're a collection of our work. They're a collection of, you know, our growth. Now the side again, I'm just going to draw that slightly back, pull that in, and cut that underneath. And there we go, guys. Just get that. Just give that a little check. I'm just going to check around the front. Just check we're nice and even.
Dan?
There we go.
I have a question from Emma.
Emma, can we put her on?
Okay, I can see.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to people. I miss people. I miss you. Tell me when she's on.
I don't think I have the ability this week to get people on.
Really? Try now.
Ah, yes.
I give you the power. Did you like that? I'm going to teach you how to blow dry.
Emma can now talk whenever she's free.
Emma. Hello, Emma. Can she speak? Oh, what's going on? Why can't I hear her? We've got an issue there. Maybe she needs to unmute herself. Can she unmute herself?
You can.
Is she there? No?
That's okay. I can ask you her question for you.
Okay.
How would you tweak this cut to do it on different textures like curly, coarse hair?
Okay. So if you have different types of hair and different types of nape whorls springing out, remember the idea of a bob is a straight, complete line. So with different hair textures, you have to then cut it a little bit freer. You can point cut as well, and you'll still come out with an outline. Now, a perfect bob has to be blow dried like this. You know, this is a kind of like a test to you. But sometimes I will texturize a entire line. Next bit section comes down, I texturize that. That finds it home. I texturize that. Then I start building up the shape. And the idea is not to suppress the shape. Don't push on the shape. Don't have the weight of the shape. You know, it's kind of keep the shape springing if the hair texture is bigger. Because the more you push on it, the more turn you're going to get. So let the hair be hair. All right. Now watch this blow dry. Right. So the idea, you see all those sleek bobs that you see out there? I've got this down. So the idea is to wrap dry with a Denman brush. So we move the hair out of the way. Okay, so first of all, I work on the side that I'm always not very good with. But what I'm doing is I'm putting the really hot setting to get that nice and smooth. And then I move it the other way. I'll blow dry the other way. Now, some people can swap hands. I'm not a guy that could swap hands. I have my limitations. I'm not a guy that's chose to practice that. I kind of do a good job just as it is, you know, like I've learned how to manipulate hair the way I manipulate hair, the way I sculpt hair, the way I feel about hair, the way I want to cut hair. Everybody's art is different. People may have approached this bob a very different way to the way I've approached it, but this is my bob. This is the way I cut my bobs. This is what I feel I'm perfecting. I do try other ways all the time. I do try and find, you know, better habits, you know, better ways of cutting. I research it, I live it, I eat it. But I don't just kind of like research just hairdressing. I research everybody who's a professional in their field. I research people like scientists, philosophers, anybody that's going to make me think better or want to be better. I encourage that all the way. You know, look at these strokes that I'm doing now, really getting in there, really making sure that that baseline, I would never use a round brush in this baseline. Never. I will get it to sit exactly where it wanted to sit. You know, give it its home, give the bob its home. You know, and by using the Denman hairbrush, it traps the hair and it gives it tension and it closes down the cuticle as the blow dryer hits the hair. And it hits it at the brush and it just closes that cuticle down, gets a lovely, lovely shine to it as well. Now, as I've come away from the base, I'm going to make sure my base is perfect. So I'm going to come back in there, just have a little check and check for root direction and just check that every direction of the root is pointing down. And that's it. And spend your time on it as well, you know. Kind of do not rush your baseline because that's the bit that's going to really show up. And that wants to be in its most natural state. And you've pushed it and you've dressed it and you made it look lovely. And then come back down, wrap drying. Wrap drying was around many years ago before straighteners happened. You know, I remember the first ever straightening iron. It was called a Futura. I think it was blue. I think you could put water in it, like a steam. You know, you could put water in your straighteners and steam your hair dry. Okay, now I'm going to take a section. I'm just going to bend that slightly under. Going to get this section here. Just lift it up and use the curvature of the brush. Use the second half of the brush. Flip it round, look. Flip it round, look. And now just tuck that under. Lovely. Just like that. Now I'm going to move the head shape into the more upright position. What time is it, Daniel? Daniel? Has he gone? Oh, sorry, bro.
Here.
What time are we on? Because I need a break.
You have 5 minutes, but I have two questions for you when you're ready.
I'm ready. I want to speak to them though. Is there a problem with that?
No, I should be able to. So Lynette, I can get Lynette up for you first. When Lynette is ready, she has the ability to talk.
Hi.
Hey, mate. Where are you from?
Belfast in Northern Ireland.
Oh, that voice. Marry me now.
It's such a weird, I've got such a weird accent.
That's not a weird accent. I love that accent. How's it going? All right. How are you
really
feeling?
Good, thank you. I'm good, thank you.
Yeah? Is life treating you well?
It is.
Tell me a bit about your background.
I'm in lockdown with my 6-year-old daughter who's type 1 diabetic, so she keeps me on my toes.
So you are on lockdown. You're obviously protecting your child at every cost.
Yeah, we had to go into lockdown 2 weeks before everybody else because of her immune system.
And you're a hairdresser? I'm guessing you're a hairdresser.
Yeah, I own my own cruelty-free hair studio in Belfast.
Your own cruelty-free
hair studio.
Cruelty-free?
Yeah, I don't use any. I use all OWAY products, so nothing's tested on animals, and it's all vegan friendly.
Well, yeah.
So
that's me just being a little bit slow there.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm not that cruel in my salon.
No.
Sometimes. Okay, so what's your question, mate?
It was when you're working on a real person, obviously, the whole position of them. I'm constantly getting my clients to uncross their legs because it makes their shoulders come up. So how do you position people when they're actually in front of you?
You know what? I think the only time that the crossing leg business works is when you've got long hair and the extension of the change of the spine really changes. Yeah. So I don't really worry about it too much unless, because when I'm cutting long hair, my clients stand up.
Yeah, I do that
and
too.
I get them to stand up, and I am proud of every single haircut that I do. I promise you that. Every single haircut that goes out of my salon, I'm proud of.
Yeah.
You know, I come back every time with a new fresh idea, a new fresh way of cutting, and every single one I do. Now, when we're having our bad days, sometimes that reflects in our work as well. And have you ever had a client say to you, "Oh, you weren't having a great time last time, and I didn't quite like it"?
Yeah. They're like,
we're all real. And how does that make you feel?
Rubbish.
Nah. It makes you feel you want to do better today than you did last time. And you put that little bit more energy in there. And guess what they're going to do next time when they come back? They're going to go, "I loved my hair. Can you do exactly the same?" And then you're like, pressure? Yeah. I wish you hadn't said that because I would have just been naturally good at it. But when we get into our own minds, you know, and we're overthinking the process. We're overthinking, how should they sit? Are they sitting right? Are they talking? Hairdressing is natural. It's a feeling. It's an art. But put yourself in no position where your body is struggling to cope with the haircut. So I went, "Do you want to move your head? Can you stop talking?" You know, I make it funny. I make it a little bit funny. Do you know what I mean? It's about kind of having the humor with it, give them a little telling off, but they like that. I know that sounds mad, but they actually like being told off. Why? Because if someone's standing behind you, they want you to be in charge of what's going on, to really have the confidence to move them into the position to get the best result. Do you follow me on that one?
Yeah,
like you have to own it. You have to, but have fun with it. Don't be cruel to them. Yeah. You're a cruelty-free salon. Yeah, I love that ethos, though. How have you managed to do that?
Well, it was my mum was diagnosed with bowel cancer, and she's okay now. But she had to get a colostomy bag in, and then I started doing research into products and what went on your head and what goes in your skin, and it just opened up a whole new world of hairdressing for me. So then I left where I was working, where I was employed, and just thought, well, if I'll build it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, at least I've tried. And 3 years on, I'm still here, so it's good.
3 years.
Yeah.
And are you quite? You know, I know you already know that you weren't going to start work until the 20th of July. And that was set by your government already. How do you feel about that?
It's tough because obviously I haven't been getting paid since March. So when you're self-employed, like you don't get any money. So we're just waiting to see if there's grants coming through. We're waiting to see if I can get any of that. So I just take each day as it comes.
Wow. So yeah, because I haven't received a paycheck at all.
No.
Myself. My staff have been looked after, but again, I haven't received, you know, I did get a grant. Did you get a grant as well? Just to kind of keep your doors open, or just kind of keep the...
Yeah, I've been told I can have it, but I haven't got any money yet. So they said it could be the end of June before I get any money.
Oh, bless you. And you're looking after that. Are my seminars helping you get through it just for one day at a time?
Yeah, it's keeping me sane.
Keeping you sane. Am I friends with you on Instagram?
I don't know. I follow you, but I don't know if we're friends.
All right. Well, hook me up a DM. I could get in touch. I've got some good stuff for you. You know, I kind of feel in your voice that you need a bit more power.
Yeah.
You need to lessen and quiet your mind down a little bit more. So I'm gonna message you something. I'm gonna give you something. I'm gonna send you some energy because you need it right now. You've got to survive, and survive you bloody will, because you've got a beautiful little daughter, and you're gonna fight for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Good talking to you, mate. See you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye, darling. Right, so when we're blow drying, you can see I'm really looking at that root control, going back and then wrap that hair right round, like get a good grip on it. I mean, I'm being quite frivolous with this hair, like ruthless, should I say, or frivolous, because with this hair type, it's the most unmanageable hair type in the world. There's probably about 16 different types of hair in this one head, and they've all been treated to kind of do something. Now, just a little tuck under. Look, remember that? Look, a little tuck. Get that hair to hug. Move it around again. Keep moving that hair. Keep it coming away. Notice that I don't use clips, because when you put clips in the hair to blow dry with, they start marking the hair. And they start, you know, doing stuff that you don't want it to do. Now, move with your blow dry. Move with your blow dry. You can see that's coming around. It's coming lovely. Give me a time check, Daniel. Another question, please.
Okay, the time is 1:05, so your last question until before lunch. Okay, this is a question from Elaine. She doesn't have a mic.
Okay.
If you are just starting out, would you just keep doing the one length over and over first until you perfect this and your cutting skills, and then go on to the layers, then bobs, etc.?
No. You need to learn very quickly the variation of your skill and the variety of your skill. Like a hairdresser cannot just sit on one set of skills. They have to learn and understand what all of the elements mean. So, you know, throw yourself into a bob, throw yourself into a man's haircut, find your weakest and make it your strongest. Do not just keep concentrating on one thing. You can master that one thing, but then quickly move on to another thing. I don't want to contradict what I'm saying, but every element of every haircut is never just a line. You know, to cut a line, you've done that. You master that. Yes, and then you kind of go, right, now let me layer that. What does that look like? So you test yourself. Test yourself, first of all. You know, the easiest one is to cut the line. Why not go for the hardest thing first? You know, go for the hardest thing, master that. Get yourself out of your comfort zone, because then you can kind of really just, you know, you can create anything. You know, I usually start off with my younger guys, don't get me wrong, like in my first part of my career, I'll give them some long hair. I know they're not going to mess up long hair. Okay? You're not going to mess up long hair. Long hair is so easy to cut. The hard thing about long hair, is the styling of it and the timing of it and the ratio of layer. But, you know, you always start on a one length, and depending on how much hair you have, that dictates the outcome of what kind of, like, you know, line you put on, what layer you put on. But definitely get a variation of skill very quickly, and then find what you're good at, and then find out what you're not so good at and work on what you're not so good at. Don't keep working on something that you're good at. You know, I've done what was he saying the other day? 24,000 haircuts. I learned my fundamentals. I learned my foundations. I learned the why, the how. I learned every single thing that I needed to learn about cutting hair from the ground up. But before I learned that, I just gave it a go. I didn't actually know I could cut hair to the level I could cut hair until I was shown by, you know, I went on a course where I learned the nine foundation haircuts, you know, which are, you know, all made up of like line, layer, and graduation. And I learned each one, you know, so I learned the short haircut, the bob, the graduation bob, the rounded graduation. You know, I learned all of these and all 9 techniques and then created them. There were some haircuts in there like an equal layer. You know, I did an equal layer, which is like that rounded haircut that you'd probably see doing it on like, you know, kind of like the more older fashioned styles, the rounded haircut. For me, that was an ugly haircut. So I almost learned what I don't want as well. You know, that was quite a thing. Learn what you don't like and what you don't like doing and never do it. Because if you don't like something, you'll never do it to your truest passion. You know, I don't color hair anymore because I didn't like it. I didn't like the process that I had to keep going through every time. And, you know, the unpredictability. With a haircut, I could really control it. Whereas I was only relying on my brain to make sure that this haircut come out right. But with the coloring, what I tend to find, it was the uncertainty of what was in that hair. So, you know, I concentrated on what I was good at, but I always gave everything a go. You know, I've done an avant-garde show before, which was all hair up. I entered a competition on television, yeah, to be a session hairdresser, and I'd never really done a hair up. So I learned on the go. And it's amazing what you can learn when you make the choice that you want to be better. You want to be better. You want to be good at what you do. You want a fruitful life. You want more money because more money gives you choices. Yeah, that's all it is. Life isn't about money, but money gives you choices. What brings money is success and determination to master what you do. That's what brings money. Yeah. But that's what is, you know, the secret to what I've done in life is that I've never really focused on the money. I've always needed the money. Of course I need the money. Everybody needs the money. It makes the wheels go round. You know, it's the cogs, it's the turning. But you shouldn't kind of have that as your main focus. I hope that answers your question in the longest winded way possible. I keep looking at the screen, Daniel, rather than the camera, expecting something to happen. I do apologize, guys. I do apologize. And you can see as I'm blow drying this, I'm moving the hair and I haven't really got a part in. You know, I haven't really kind of suggested where the parting would go. I never blow dry a parting in. You know, I'll always blow dry the hair, kind of as much movement and energy as possible. And just keep working, like, you know, because you don't want it to kind of sit in one way or another. You want the hair to be freer, move around. And obviously on this one, we know the destination of the haircut, and that's a nice bob. So guys, I'm sweating here, absolutely sweating in this jumper and all these lights on. So I'm going to take a nice little break and we're going to come back and I'm going to show you the art of refinement. Okay, so how to refine the bob, how to flat iron to perfection. Okay, how to flat iron to perfection, and how you maybe not been using your flat irons correctly. You know, like Daryl, can I get Daryl on the phone, please?
Yep, I'll just get him for you. Hello.
How are you, brother?
I'm good, you?
I'm good, bro. How you feeling today?
All right, just been on the phone to the bank to sort a load of stuff out.
Yeah, but you feel okay? How do you feel in yourself?
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I didn't think we would be back till June, July anyway. So
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you. How you feeling?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, you feel good?
Yeah.
What keeps you going, Daryl?
Just improving myself, motivation. My little boy.
Yeah. Your little boy. Yeah.
Yeah, just to be the best I can be for him.
And what did we get up to last night? What did you learn? Straight off. Don't think about it. What did you learn?
What didn't I learn? I learned not to second guess everything I do and to just relax when I'm cutting.
Yeah. You get in a flow. Yeah. I mean, I think we really connected yesterday, and your haircut came out beautiful. So,
it was incredible.
You know what? To the guys out there, I know you're very interested in my coaching cutting course online, getting through hard times, and I've adjusted the course to go onto the webinar. And I know you're very interested in kind of signing up for that, which will help kind of support me doing these Mondays as well. Why would you want to come on that and not just stick with, you know, just the free ones that we're kind of giving out?
The free ones, obviously, they're brilliant. I'm here every Monday.
Yep.
But doing that one with you yesterday, you spend more time and you go really in depth, and you look at you and you give, as it says, courage in cutting.
And that's what I'm going to do.
Like I said to you, it's like, I'm not crap at cutting. I don't hate cutting. I just fear it.
That fear.
And obviously,
So
like yesterday, when I got that image and obviously I posted it on Instagram, it's just blown up because nobody expected like a cut like that to come from me.
I know, right? It's gone big, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what I want. You know, I want to kind of create a massive collection of people that are perfectionists. I want you to repost as much as you can for me to support what I do. I will keep doing that if I keep getting the love, you know, and I will keep giving and giving, because the love and respect that I'm getting back, it just makes me want to do more and more for you guys. And just having this moment, almost a normality, even with my own team are joining me. I know you're there. I can feel you're there. You know, I'm very spiritual, as you probably guess. And in fact, I've only just learned spirituality. Do you feel that since meeting me? Did you do that exercise last night, by the way?
Yeah, it's eased it up.
How do you feel?
Yeah, it's better. I'm not like walking around like a granddad.
Feels better. So over the years, I'm a man of knowledge. I'm nearly 40 years old myself.
No, you're early. You're 20 something.
Yeah, right. I love you for that, bro. But so you have to look after your body, and that will look after your mind. You will make a plan today. You'll write down your 3 goals, what you want to achieve, and make them achievable goals, but just write them down. Okay. I need you to write those down. I need you tomorrow to set a time that you're going to get up. Get up. Do you understand me? You're going to get up. Then you're going to do a form of exercise that's going to exert you. Now, that could be just a warm-up. That could be just swinging your arms around. That could be just doing spins or star jumps. Something. Get yourself up there, because I could feel you, right? When I see you and you want this, you want it so much more than a lot of people. And then people are looking at you going, okay, I want to be that guy. Yeah. You're turning into that guy. So now it's time for you to inspire. Yeah. So, but inspire from inside out. Find that soul, find the spirituality, find your exercise, find your motivation, and you're going to do it. All right, brother. I'm going to speak to you later. Guys, I'm going to have a break. See you later, Daryl. I'm going to have a little break. Then I'm going to show you a little bit of flat ironing. And then we're going to recap. We're going to talk about what's coming next. We're going to show you this, Bob. Line this out. It's nearly pretty much done. So we've just got to flat iron it. Let me just show you what we've got so far. That's looking lovely already. You can see like nice little close up of that. You can see the different direction. You see how it just kind of sits perfectly. And that was quite easy and effortless to do, right? And that's not even flat ironed. It's just dressed with a nice Denman brush, got a nice shine on it, got a nice bevel on it. You know, everywhere you move it. I'm going to show you how we strengthen that line even more, even to get that perfect perfectionist mindset. I'll see you in a minute. So, hey guys, we're back. I've come back a little bit earlier because to straighten a bob, sometimes, you know, kind of, I'm just going to put a little bit of hairspray in there, but things that I want to kind of show you now. Now, I'm going to use, I've got my Cloud9 straightening irons here. I have them on the highest setting, and this is not necessary for every single guest. You know, this is just for, you know, this hair type in particular, which is quite difficult to work with. I didn't want to keep that clip in there for too long. What I tend to do, right, okay, so I've built up around the bottom of the shape. Now, obviously, I know I'm pressed for time, and when the time runs out, unless we can get Billy on the phone, and just to extend the meeting by, you know, I always like to run over, you know me. We have a great time here. I just really want to ask you, I want you to ask yourself, how are you? How are you? If you're not okay, reach out. If you're not feeling your best, reach out. Okay, because everybody, and I think you'll be very surprised, whatever you're feeling, someone else is feeling. And I want you to reach out for that person that you know that needs you right now. You know, and just a text. I mean, if they don't answer your call, that's okay too, but they know that you're thinking about them. Do you know what I mean? And you need to think about that person that you know that's probably a little bit unsteady on the waves of life anyway. And you need to ask them, are they okay? And you need to keep asking them, are okay? And don't give up on them. There's a lot of people that I've tried to call recently, and you know, you can get into that mindset, oh, they're just ignoring my calls. It's maybe because they're visiting that place which they shouldn't visit. And you need to get a lighthouse, and they need to know that lighthouse is looking out for you, you know, and it's there for whenever they want to come back. You know, I beg you to avoid alcohol as much as possible in this time. That's going to change your state of mind. That's going to change your, you know, your thought patterning and how you feel, and do everything you can to get the good chemicals in your body. You know, in these times, there is a lot of people that are going through different things other than what's happening to them right now, such as COVID-19 is happening to all of us. But the effects and the cause of what's happening to people out there as well. You know, we're reading into social media a hell of a lot. I know we've got a question in a minute when Dan's back on the game.
I'm back.
Dan,
I
you just
have Rachel
introduce
here
yourself
for you.
when you're back in there, and we're going to start really kind of putting you a little bit at ease, because I am at ease. I do not fear this. I will not let this dictate my outcome. Yeah. My outcome will be dictated by my choices, and I have a choice. I have a choice to listen to negativity. I have a choice to live a sad life. I also have a choice to live a life of abundancy. You know, I have a choice to get busy. I have a choice to exercise. I have a choice to eat right. I have a choice to phone a friend. I have a choice. And in our brains work within a split second. We're built to, you know, our brains are really built to avoid anything that's hard, you know, because that's what we fear. And our brains will automatically change our mind, and they will change your mind very quickly. And you've got about 5 seconds to make that choice, and actively do that, such as getting out of bed in the morning at the better time and exercising. You know, work on your body. I love my body. Yeah, I love my body. I'm kind to myself. I love myself. I love my mind. Yeah, be kind to yourself. Repeat these things in your head. Find your meditation. Meditation is something that I've found recently to really help me. Concentrate on your breathing. You know, really concentrate on your breathing. Do the exercises now and again, just to tell yourself that you are beautiful, that you are wonderful, that you are amazing, that you are loved, you are adored, you are liked, you are missed. And you should be, because it's not fair.
Can you hear me, Dan?
And just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And these are lyrics from a song, by the way. Read poetry. Find your inspirational sound, something that fires you up. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking diagonal sections all the way through. I'm looking at the way the hair's reacting to me. Okay, and maybe that could be in the way I've blow dried it or pushed the hair. I'm going to make sure that like I get the tiniest little sections. I put my iron in and I just bevel it. I bevel it under. Then I put the flat iron just to cool it down and just kind of keep it in its place. You see what I did there? Okay, so just underneath, just slightly tucking that under. That's not straightening the hair, it's molding the hair. I'm molding it into the position that I want it to sit in. So I'm having a look at my root direction and the way I blow dried the hair. Can you guys hear me all right? We've got Rachel on the line.
Yeah, about social media.
Okay. Hello, Rachel.
Hiya.
Hello, Rachel. Where you from, mate? Whereabouts? Hello?
Hiya.
Yeah, where you from, mate?
Preston.
Preston?
Yeah.
I'm up your way on Tuesday.
Oh, what are you coming up here for?
I come up, I have a son that lives in Clitheroe.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so I go up and I go and see them all the time. I take the nice long drive, and they meet me closer to there, and you know, I kind of spend that time in the car to kind of like catch up on my phone calls, reflect on life and stuff like that. So what's your question, my friend?
Basically, I at the minute find social media makes me feel really anxious, like with everything about coronavirus, and everyone's got an opinion about what businesses should be doing. But I also know that at the minute everyone's on social media, so because I'm a freelancer, I know that I need to be on social media to keep like relevant and for my clients to kind of remember me.
Yeah.
How do you kind of combat both? Like staying on when you want to avoid it because it makes you feel so overwhelmed.
Okay, so there's a difference between a watcher and a creator. Okay, so I don't spend my time strolling through people's stuff waiting for an answer. I trust in my own answers, and the answers will come to you. What you've got to do is just ask for the answers, you know, and they will come to you. You know, you've got to meditate about the answers. You've got to really feel about the answers. You've got to find that clear space, because there is too many people out there saying this, saying that, saying this. And you have to find your balance of when to jump in and find out your source of information and when to avoid it as well. So you need to kind of like have this balance of, okay, I'm going to go on social media to learn something. I'm going to go onto social media to find a question out. And I'm literally going to switch off. Now, if I told you I haven't watched the news in, you know, let's think about this, probably 3 weeks now. I didn't even watch I didn't watch what happened last night. I just waited for some of the groups to kind of act. Then I waited for the memes to come out. And my life will not be dictated by somebody else. My life and my thought process is my own. I am at one with my own thoughts, and I have to be that way. And that will stop the inner chatter, the source of information, which isn't fact, or, you know, you don't know what's happening. Nobody knows what's happening. You're in the same boat. We're all making this up as we go along. If there was someone with a crystal ball, you know, and a wizard out there, then I'd follow them. And they'll tell you to do that. But the only thing that you've got to do, my friend, is work on your mental strength. Work on that. And the reason that you're asking me these questions is because that you are self-doubting. So let me give you a little bit of this. In the freelance world, what you've got to do is that, yes, you've got to connect with your clients. You've got to stay in touch with your clients. But you, as a freelancer, only have your clients to connect with. Yeah. So that's not hard. And the way you kind of build that bond isn't by social media. Yeah, it's not advertising. What you're trying to do is retain what you've already got, and that's a phone call. That's a couple of phone calls. That's 2-3 phone calls a day. That's all you need to those good people that want to speak to you, and already have the answers out there. Create an email. Spend your time trying to email your guests. Trying to connect with them that way. Because sometimes I got on the phone to my clients, and I spent about 8 hours just phoning about a week's worth of clients, and that sucked the life out of me, because everybody had a story. Everybody wanted to know how we are, and actually in this time I hit rock bottom. I was in the gutter, my friend. My anxiety, my fear, my everything, my whole life was falling away from me, and it wasn't because of what the situation, what was happening. It was, if I'm quite open, it was my relationship that I'd met, and it broke down. And it broke down while this is happening. And I reached out and I was screaming in my head, and the noise was so loud that I had to use so much strength to pull myself back and concentrate on just positivity, self-love, optimism. Listen to, when you say these words, you find the answers. And you find the right answers, and they will come to you. You manifest these answers, and they will come to you. And when the time is right. So the more and more you're listening to other people's replies and other people's nonsense, that's their own fears and anxieties being replicated at you. You avoid that at all costs. If you see someone being negative, try and pull them back, because they're in a mindset of negativity, and your positiveness that you've kind of created will reflect on them. And the more positive this circle is, and this is why my business is successful. This is why our business is successful, because all of my guys, no matter how dark place they are, we pick them back up. So you need a companion. And guess what? I'm your companion through this whole thing. I can give you every bit of an inch of advice, because this is not hard. This isn't a hard time. It's only your choice to make it hard. It's only your choice to find it negative. It's only your choice that's making you make these choices. And this is probably why the correct answer isn't coming to you automatically. But as soon as you kind of find those positive outcomes, and you make that difference tomorrow, you're going to be good. And get off that social media for a nice break, or you become a creator of social media. So you're behind the scenes, ready to post, put something out there. And I do encourage that you keep it alive and keep doing that, because you never know. You may put something out there and they may catch a gem. Someone may give you a gem, and it just goes. And yet those messages, you might hit one heart, and that heart, you saved their life. Can we save lives as hairdressers? Damn yeah. I've saved a lot of lives as a hairdresser, because we are their therapist. We are their therapist, and they are our therapy. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, 100%.
So whereabouts are you? How old are you?
27.
27 years young.
Yeah.
And what are you doing then? How are you dealing with this? How are you dealing with it mentally? How are you?
A bit up and down, to be honest. Like I've found lockdown quite hard, like being away from my family and stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, sometimes I tend to do the opposite of like what you've been saying, and we'll just kind of be like, oh, there's no point getting dressed, or there's no point doing anything other than watching Netflix, because we've got weeks of this. And then my other half is great, and he'll just be like, no, get dressed, come on, we're going out for a walk. And
love your other half. What's your other half do?
He's a software developer, so he's still working. He's working from home.
Yeah. So you're looking after him?
Yeah.
No, you're not. No. I felt that hurt. No, you're not. You take care of your man. Your man is your provider. Okay. Now this sounds very kind of cynical and everything else, but he is providing. He is working. He needs that mental space. He's struggling himself. So make it your purpose to look after your man. That is your purpose right now. Then, you change you first. Don't try and change him. You change you. Yeah. And then you'll have a fantastic relationship. And you rotor that, you get up when he gets up, you get showered, you make breakfast, you make him feel appreciated. And in this time, he'll remember that forever, thank you so much for allowing me to work. And if he's working from home as well, you need to find your own headspace. He needs to earn his own headspace, mind you. He can't just kind of put you into that. He needs to kind of think of your needs as well. So when in a relationship, you have to have this kind of time balance, you know, and you need to allow him to kind of hide in his hole, you know, hide away. And you need that time as well. And that could be as simply as putting your headphones in, okay? And you're still being in the same room, but you're just in a different place. I'm just going to you just say to him, like, you know, I'm just going to disappear for a bit. And you're not disappearing. You're just putting something that inspires you in your mind. And then you come back together and you can talk about where you went, and you can talk about what you're up to and your dreams and your ambitions together, and ask him how his day is. I know you're living there. When was the last time you said, how's your day?
I do actually ask him that every day.
I love you for that. I love you for that. And does he give you it back?
Yeah, he does.
He does. He's a kind man. You're a kind woman. And kindness will prevail. You know, kindness is a massive thing. You know, it's a big thing. Do something kind. Do something thoughtful. Is your weekly shopping trip now your highlight of your life?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, right. Same as everybody. Same as everybody. Yeah. We're all in this together. Why did you turn up today to watch my seminar?
Because I wanted to make the most of like the time. I don't really feel like I've done anything with the past 6 weeks, so I just thought I want to come out of this better.
Okay, so that's one action. Did you write down your goals?
I haven't done that yet. I struggle to kind of to make it straightforward, like what I want to do, instead of running away with myself.
Okay, so maybe you need to make your goals a little bit smaller, and make them a little bit closer, and make them a little bit more reality, and maybe make a goal for tomorrow, and that's to get dressed. When he gets dressed, to make him breakfast, to do that and become a routine. You need to find your routine. You know, this life hasn't really changed for the evolution of a person. You know, it's just that we're not just going to work and we're not just seeing people, but we can see people. There are ways of doing this. You know, make a call list. Okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to make a phone call. Then I'm going to listen to my music. Then I'm going to exercise. Then I'm going to make a lovely, fantastic lunch. You know, then I'm going to concentrate on maybe, can you cook?
Yeah.
You can cook. Okay, plan your meals. Plan out a beautiful meal. Do stuff like that, you know, and set those goals. And then the other goals will develop. But it's about taking action. And that action creates an action, and then another action. The most successful people that I've studied in the world are people that study this kind of form of action, and they just get into that mindset. You know, they were down, they didn't want to feel down, they got angry with themselves, and out of anger becomes passion, and becomes just an abundance of life, and get more creative and love yourself a bit more. You know, tell yourself that you're special, you're loved. Tonight, I want you to it sounds a bit weird, but there's this thing, it's called sleep meditation. And what it does is it just repeats is, I am a good person. I am loved. Yeah, I am going to get through this. I'm not fearful. And just repeats these things, and you remind yourself, and you'll take yourself on a beautiful little journey. I don't know if that answered your question. It's a long-winded way of answering a question, right? But
that's very helpful. Thank you.
Watch this, Bob. I'll see you later, mate. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fingers here now. I'm going to cut underneath here like this and just take away anything that I didn't like, literally. But I'm really going to stay stable. I've got one finger connected with the head, and I've got one finger connected with the blade on my Aikido blades. Now, and I just keep going in and just pushing that hair away, all in one direction, and then I'll come back through. I'm really underneath. So, you know, when I'm cutting a bob in the salon, I will get my client to stand up, get the shoulders to move away, and then cut underneath, because it's the underneath that's really dictating the top. So you get that away, and you can really sharpen up that tiny little line. I mean, on the camera to you, that looks perfect, I think. next week, we're going to come back with a competition later. So do stay tuned to my Instagram. You guys, please follow We Are Perfectionists. Please promote it. Please put it out on your stories. You know, remember to hashtag the circle. You know, I want to see some love out there, and I'll definitely come back with some more energy next week. And I'll keep doing this until we are back. Also, you know, if you're interested in me taking you through a 4-day course, if I get enough interest, I'll put it live. You know, so if I get enough interest, I will then spend 4 days, you know, perhaps a day in between to have a little break. I will spend 4 days with you, teaching you everything I know. And I know a lot, guys, because I work on it. So I'm just coming underneath here. I am supporting it with the comb a little bit. I'm just pushing it in there. You can see that line's really cleaned up now. And that's it, you know, that's it. I've left the front a little bit softer because maybe I want to put a fringe in there. But if we can kind of look at how that's sitting, it sits beautifully. You can see that. You know, every hair has its home. Every hair has its home. And I'll keep working around. And I'll keep pushing, like, so I'll get underneath the haircut. You've got to get underneath the haircut. Yeah, you've got to support your scissor and really control that, you know, just tiny little haircuts like that, just tiny little haircuts, little snippets away of just refining that line. That line, give it another little comb, have a look, see what falls out, you know, move the hair left, move the hair right, give it a nice little shake. And that pretty much is pretty much perfect, ready to go. Little bit of depth in the comb there. Pull it into your shape that you want. Tilt your blade. Remember to tilt the blade underneath. Get that going down. We got any more final questions before we wrap this up, guys?
One quick one. Do you ever blow dry hair before cutting a full cut?
No. 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 I've seen it. I've seen it. But I always kind of believe in putting my base in and then refining afterwards. So it's kind of like, I can't say I have. The only time I've ever done that is when the client's been really happy with the look so far. You know, they've turned around to me and they said, mate, I really like my hair at the minute. And it's like, I don't even know why I wanted my appointment. And I say, how about I blow dry that? How about I blow dry that and refine it later? Yeah, that's the only time that I would do that, you know, and give the client a choice. And then, you know, maybe you just reduce the service down. It's just a blow dry now, but they'll appreciate that you listened to them and that you didn't just go in and chop their hair off. So that's the only time I'll perhaps kind of do that. But I spend a lot of my time creating my shapes and then a lot of time refining my shapes. And I think we're pretty much there on that, Bob. I could go through that, Bob, again and again and again and again and again. But this is your classic Bob shape. Now notice that the front slopes down. That's allowed me to just kind of have that movement if I need to kind of like move the hair and like move it out of the way and just push it back into its shape. Because watch what happens here. Like if I comb this hair and I move it into shape, that line becomes a lot straighter. You see what I mean? And she doesn't wear it in front of her face. So, you know, that's, you know, I put a little bit of kind of hairspray through it, give it a little comb. Careful what, you know, careful how much hairspray you can put on a look. You don't want it to look stiff. You still want it to flow. You still want it to move. Give it some freedom there. But I hope you like that haircut. That's just your normal bob with a slight undulation to the front, a slight over direction. If I wanted to kind of put any fringe in or anything like that. But that is a very, very accurate, sexy, square haircut. And I hope you liked it. I've really enjoyed myself today. You brought me a lot of love, a lot of life. You know, I'm really quite happy with the results that I've given you today on how to cut a line. Remember, it's not just a line. It's a beautiful precision haircut. I want to see some of you guys now. Maybe some of you guys have got some mannequin heads at home. I want you to now get your mannequin head out or make a plan for tomorrow. I want you to tag me in that as well. And I'll send you some love. You know, I'll send you some love out there. I really, really enjoyed myself. Now, I want you to go over to my YouTube channel. We are going to upload the next video to YouTube. And that will be how to... It's going to be like a taste of what you can get with my Courage in Cutting course. And then those that have been on my courage in cutting course, and there's a lot of you out there, my next course is called Break the Rules, where we really explore, you know, the different dimensions that you can cut hair on different shapes to get a different outcome. And this one's only a 2-day course. So we're going to have a 4-day course. It's going to be, you know, we're going to kind of stage it out. I've got all the timings for you. They are a full-on day. You don't necessarily need a doll's head either. You can just watch and record, and you can keep that forever. But these are still haircuts, even though they're more adventurous, they're more in depth, they're more of the understanding of the why. With this is just foundation level, so it's just another level up. But also I will take you on a journey of self-confidence, of where I got my confidence from. Even when you haven't got any confidence, you can trick yourself into having more, to have the courage to get up and take action and do something better. Be better than you was yesterday. Yeah? You got me? I love you all, guys. That's Bob. Next week, maybe some short hair. What do you reckon? Would you go into short haircuts? You're afraid of those. I know you're afraid of those. Or a man's haircut. You know, drop it in. What would you like to see next time? DM me. Yeah, I answer to everybody. I get there through the day. DM me. What would you like to see next time? Would you like to see a man's haircut and how I navigate that? Because we have a bit of fear around that. Would you like to see a short woman's haircut? What would you like to see? Maybe send me some images of things you're struggling with. I can talk you through that. I've learned it. I've understood it. And remember, it's square. Yeah, square, triangle, or circle shapes. That's all there is. It's a line. Yeah, it's a layer. Yeah, or it's graduation. There's nothing in between. Master those, understand those, and your haircutting will just become an abundance. If there was another artist that you're interested in bringing on to the We Are Perfectionists webinar lives, then please reach out to them and say, I want to learn from you, hook up with this guy, or I just continue on this path and do it for you myself. It'd be nice to bring other people in to help me out and see their different ways of cutting hair. Maybe you can reach out to some of them. But I hope I've given you a good mindset to carry on for the rest of the week. I hope you have a really good mindset of the goals that you're going to achieve and what you're going to do, that you have more of optimism, you have more positivity, and you have more creativity as well. I beg you to just quiet that chatter down and don't worry. You're going to be all right. I love you. I'll see you soon. Good night.